Friends, happy Monday, April 29th, 2024. The Monday show is live again. I, of course, am your host. With me, as always, is my good friend Ruuts. Ruuts, we said it would come back one day. But I got to admit, I didn't really believe it would ever come back. But here we are, the Monday show, live again. Pretty incredible.
It's back. That's crazy. And I thought the same way. But I guess in a way, I kind of thought it would come back just because we're always open to shifting. You know, like we shift, I think, better than most. Like, because we're all so willing to do what we need to do to get our end of it done. And we work well with each other. We, very rarely are we like fighting against anything. We're just rolling with it, right? And
I don't think we've ever really had it out like about anything. Like I'm sure you've been annoyed from time to time with me, and that's just natural in any relationship. Yeah, but like we've never I don't think really been mad at one another and had a big disagreement.
No,
knock on wood.
Yeah, there's some wood right here. I know Mash and I had that disagreement. Bluebell would agree with during the 2023 deliberations. I get heated up when it comes to games and debating in general. Like if I feel very strongly about it, I can make a good case for stuff. And so yeah, but other than that, those are things that you get a little heated, and then like Mash said at the end of the conversation that night, we're still friends, and we all laughed, and it's just funny.
I'm just a patient person. I think you are too. Like I don't like if I'm mad at you, you did something. Like I don't just get angry over anything. Like it takes something to really piss me off. So like it doesn't happen very often, and typically when it does happen, I'm dealing with someone that's like super irrational or something, and it's just being totally annoying. And lucky for me, in my old age, I've come to realize that I just shouldn't have those people around me anymore. So
cut them out, and then you don't have the stress. That's right. Corporate Zombie says, who else likes to knock on wood, or I say lock on wood? My mom. Yeah, she does. And I wanted to shout out Classy Grandma for the $10 super chat. Basically saying, well, hello boys, I do not twit nor do I tweet, but if you are a regular Zexlax, I'm at your feet. Whoop whoop, we appreciate you. And yeah, Wes was just saying at the beginning of the show that we'll probably see some people's names that we normally don't, which is one of the reasons why we fixated on this time, was to try to go early enough for people that are in the UK or maybe go to bed early, kind of hit a different crowd, right? That was our whole intention. One show for one side, the other show for the other, and so
right early enough for Europe and late enough for the West Coast on Monday, so that we can continue to go on. And yeah, everything worked out just perfectly, at least so far. We would think this is going to be good for us. And Classy Grandma, we do plan on being regular. We're going to be Metamucil, baby, here at this time every week from now on. I also want to shout out Wife. Wife is in the chat. She's not home. She's out there on the road somewhere.
Oh, wow.
But we've been married today, Ruuts. 24 years today.
What a blessing. A lot of people always, the old ball and chain. Nah, man, if you find the right person, that's not a ball and chain. It's like, it's a life partner. It's your best friend, and you found it. So I think it's kudos to you guys.
Well, I wonder if polygamists refer to their others as the old balls.
They may. I don't know if that would be very appropriate. What are your thoughts? I've seen a couple people say it. I saw it in the Twitter sphere, I guess X now, about Returnal coming to PlayStation VR 2. At first I saw the picture and people showing the little V in the R, and I thought, yeah. But then I looked at the picture, and it does it not look like the face of the main character of Returnal broken up into pieces? And
Oh, that's definitely Selena, yeah, or Celine, or whatever her name is.
So either a
That's for sure.
VR adaptation or a sequel, or maybe, well, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
there's no way it's DLC. We're now almost 5 years past, right? So now it's about time for another a sequel, right? Was it 2020?
Yeah, 3 years, I think. Late 2020 it came out, so like
Okay.
3.5 years.
Yeah, so I guess it could be
Um,
DLC, but
it could be. Um, and the pessimist in me wants to say that this won't be VR. But if I'm being honest, it's just as likely as not. Like, I think it's a 50-50 deal because at this point, we have heard for years that there is a Returnal VR game in development
right.
from multiple sources. And that's been, again, in years we've been hearing this. So it would have had time to complete development by now, or at least get near enough that they could announce it. And we haven't heard anything from first party Sony with regard to VR since the launch of PlayStation VR 2, which was over a year ago. Like, we had amazing first party games that launched with it, but it's been crickets since then. And we've speculated, well, that's probably because the games are in development. AAA games don't develop themselves overnight, it takes years. So we'll probably hear more at some point down the road. Maybe this is that
Mm.
point. Maybe the dam is starting to break, and maybe Sony's getting ready to come out and say, hey guys, why don't you shut the fuck up? We do care about VR.
Yeah. So do you think if it comes out as it is, but it's in VR, people are going to be like trashing it and saying, "Look, man, this isn't like I need to aim down the sights of the gun. I want to hold the gun. I need to be Celine. I don't want to like look at a third person character running around." And I will just submit, you're missing out on, like, so I saw SpryGuy's comment in the Flat to VR World of Warcraft channel, just saying to the devs, "Thank you for this. I've played thousands of hours of this game, and I've been able to play and see things I've never seen from a different perspective." And it's true. You see little things that you never would have seen because you're in the world. And I don't care if it's third person. I don't care if I'm having to point and click at the thing and running around with a joystick, and it's VR. I'm in this world. You know what I mean? Not every VR game, Edge of Nowhere, I'm not aiming down the sights, is one of the best VR games that I think have been made from the ground up, but it was made in a smart way that's going to bring both sides into VR, and it's going to allow developers that already know how to create that type of game to bring it into VR and make it phenomenal. And so I'm not disappointed at all. If there's no aiming down the sights, I just don't. I still stand by what I said with first person. That's just not a game that, as cool as it would be to be in there in first person, it's not really doable. There's just too much shit going on after the first biome. It's just too much.
Yeah, well, I haven't played that deeply into it. I know playing in the first biome in first person using the UEVR mod, um, it worked better than I thought it would. It was quite doable. I know it was harder. Don't get me wrong. Already a hard game. Definitely gets harder when you knock that field of view down into a first person thing. But it was fun. It was cool, and it was something that like would be a good thing for someone who's already finished it in third person and has that instinct and muscle memory to play the game. I think going into first person would be a good way to ramp the challenge up
Oh yeah,
and keep going.
it's like hardcore mode for World of Warcraft, or some kind of a for tryhards, for people that are so good at the game that they need something else. And by all means, yeah, for sure. I just I feel like the game was made third person for a reason. Those bullet hell games, there's so many things coming at you from all different directions, and the biomes just get crazier and crazier. And so
Yeah.
I just don't think that for the average person, and probably 99% of people, probably it wouldn't be feasible. There's that 1% of people that it would be awesome to do. I just want to be in the game. I just want to be in the world, because I share what SpryGuy said and what you've been saying about World of Warcraft and how amazing the sense of scope. And I'm level 72 and I've leveled from completely in VR. And if I wasn't doing a show today and didn't play games last night and do what I was doing yesterday, I would have been level 80 by now. Like, I want to be in there right now if I'm not doing a show. Because I just love being in that world so much. So
Yeah. If it comes out and it's third person, I'm sure some people will be disappointed. Um, for what it's worth, I think if it comes out, it will be a first person game, even if that means redesigning and rebalancing it a little bit to make it more feasible as a first person game. I think that that's what they'll do. Um, but who knows if that's what this is? Someone in the chat said that it's a comic, that they're going to reveal a Returnal comic tomorrow, and that would make sense. If you look at the image, it looks like a
yeah,
comic book, like a comic panel.
there's a
So
lot of things that could be. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I disagree. I think if it were to come to VR, I think it would be as it is. And I think it should be. I don't want it to be remade. The game is so good. Don't remake the game to make it a gimmick of VR. You know what I mean? That not every game has to be, first person aiming guns sights down, unless you want to take the exact same game and put you in first person, which I'm all for, but I kind of feel like it'd be like Ven VR changing the game, to appease the few people out there and ruining, well, not ruining it, but just changing it in a way that kind of sucks.
people are saying that my audio is breaking up again.
I know. So there's been, it's not breaking up. There's been a couple times where you've had internet lag issues. And so it's kind of like lagged as you were talking, but there's not really anything you can do about that,
Okay, if it gets really bad, you all let me know and I'll reboot or something. I mean, if it's bad, we can go reboot the router or reboot my computer or something and see if that doesn't straighten it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So far it hasn't been that bad, but there's been a couple moments where, and I always check my internet, the green bar there to make sure it's not on my end. But
cool. You know what I think this Returnal announcement is going to be, Ruuts? Returnal AR. MR. Returnal MR.
Oh, I hope so, man. That would be so cool. No.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got a story this week from some people at Meta. Imagine that. Somebody at Meta pumping up their own their own products. Basically saying that their AR glasses prototype is as like the wow factor. It's as breathtaking as using regular VR for the first time, and that's interesting to hear.
Is this people that have never tried VR?
Maybe
I could see that, but like what blew me away when I first got into VR is not even going to blow me away at all today. That's where my cynicism comes from. It's like I feel like in a lot of ways we're still, outside of graphics being better, we're still in maybe even a worse place because the games were better when I came into VR. The scope of them. So
yeah. So basically, what they're talking about is they have a prototype AR glasses that they're making, which is not a prototype of the consumer version that they're planning on launching next year or the year after. This set that they're making, it has a different kind of display technology in it, and these displays. It's a very inefficient manufacturing process, and they have to throw away most of the material that they work with. And every now and then they get one that's good and it works. Um, they're supposed to be really good. Glasses form factor. Here's the thing that cracks me up. Like they're talking about something that's 70 degrees field of view, maybe 80, whereas like the current technology all is around 50 degrees. And trust me, I've tried some of these out. Like it's very obvious that the field of view is super small in these things. We're talking about getting it up to 70 to 80 degrees, which I mean, That's not terrible. I mean, like the Quest field of view is something like 98 or something like that. So if it's really like in that range, then that's actually pretty impressive for a pair of glasses. But even if it was like a full 90-degree field of view, for it to give me that wow factor that I had the first time playing VR, it would have to be so fleshed out where like literally you put the things on and there's just so many different individual processes taking place in your space that that your jaw hits the floor. And I don't believe it can be at that point right now. Even if the displays are beautiful and the field of view is good, like I think they're underestimating or at least they don't remember just what how big of a wow factor VR was for most people back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's a lot more than field of view, and I don't know. Just feel like you're probably right, and we're not quite there. And they're probably looking at it from a perspective of what they've had up till now, right? And they're like, compared to these other ones, these are next level. And then if we put it
Right.
on, we're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not like you. I would need it to be like amazing. So
Yeah. Yeah, so they're going to actually distribute a few pairs of these during Connect to select
hmm.
developers just as a proof of concept, not to develop like any kind of like hard software for it or anything, but just as a proof of concept to show people where it's going and if they can ever get the manufacturing process uh, optimized for this sort of display where we could be at by the end of the decade. Um, and for what it's worth, I am a believer in AR and MR. Like the Quest 3 has pretty much made a believer of me. Like it definitely has a lot of room to improve, but it's good enough that I can see where it's going and what the applications are going to be. I do think it's going to be a game changer. I just am skeptical that it is as far along as they claim it is at this point. I think it'll probably be 10 years before we have a good set of transparent AR glasses. I mean, they're even talking Ruuts now that like they're looking at technologies that don't even use the screen, but instead literally take lasers and beam
Oh,
the pictures right onto your retina.
there's nothing wrong could go there or could go wrong there. I don't know if I want a laser beaming into my eyeballs. That's personally, man, it could be cool. I don't know. I agree. The fact that we're talking about technology that isn't what is actually going to come out to people. This is like fantasy shit that we always hear about from Meta. Like, oh yeah, we're making 17,000 headsets that are never going to be brought to light, but let's talk about those. We won't talk about what's actually coming out. But
Right.
yeah, I was going to say, if you do at some point want to maybe just give a restart or something, it started to robot a couple times, and
All
um
right. I'll let you keep people company Roots, and I'm just going to restart my whole deal here, and it'll probably take me 3 to 5 minutes, but I'll be back.
so
Just
it shouldn't affect anything, right, since it started.
no, no. As long as I don't hit that stop
Okay.
button, we're not using restream, so it's not going to just kill everything automatically. But it should keep right on going, and I will be right
All right,
back.
well, I'll try to keep everybody company. Appreciate the super chat from Nihilist Ryan, the game feline. I can finally catch this live. That's one of the reasons, Ryan, where we were trying to shoot for this time frame, and because we're already kind of used to the CruCast time, which was 2 o'clock my time, 3 now my time, which is good because I don't know that I want to go back to work, because that was my thought. It's like, well, if I'm not doing CruCast, I got to go back to work. I can't justify getting off work on Mondays early and losing almost $100, right? I don't mind doing that for the show. I'll do that for the show all day or for CruCast or whatever, but just to get off of work, I probably would have done it, because I've been getting into World of Warcraft VR, which I will say is probably, in my opinion, mod of the year. Although, if you don't like World of Warcraft VR, I don't know, you probably haven't tried it. And if you said you like Zenith, but you haven't tried World of Warcraft, I think I question your soul, because it makes Zenith to me look like garbage. Yes, you can't put your arms out and fly in World of Warcraft, but I got flight form as Druid now, and what's cool is as long as you leave the controls right to hand tracking or to hand based instead of head based movement, because you're not really moving, you're moving with the joystick. I can actually just fly by pointing straight up. I can like control where I fly by doing this. As a Druid, that's fucking badass, dude. I swoop down, I grab that herb, and then take off. It's badass. But yeah, I think it's an amazing mod. Definitely worth checking out. And I'm surprised Technoglitch. He downloaded it, but he hasn't been in there yet. So. And shout out to Miles Dyer. He says Wednesday's dead to me. And yeah, a little bit of me is dead inside as well from that changing of the show. But I think going down to one show is gonna make things even better in a way, just for sanity reasons, right? So sometimes I've felt like 2 streams a week could be too much, and then we were doing 3 with CruCast, so I completely understand how that can be burn people out. What's a little choppy? Am I choppy, or is it or Wes was a little choppy? Are you just catching up to what I was saying from before? To get running. Yeah, Looper, I agree. I mean, it's not that difficult. It's just nobody's really laid it out in a proper way. Like, I love the mods over there that made this WoW VR mod. They just like having the directions to a mod in a FAQ is bizarre to begin with. At least it says read me now, but it's just not laid out in a way that makes sense to people. And I think what it needs is somebody to make an actual video. And this is a suggestion for content creators out there that I guarantee it would get a lot of eyeballs on it, like a proper video on how to set it up that actually works. I'd do it, but I can't stand that shit. I don't like to do videos. I don't like to edit stuff. Like whenever I do anything, if you've ever noticed, everything for me is live, because live takes one take. I don't want to edit. Like, editing is for people that can't, well, I don't want to say can't think on the fly, because that's disregarding people's abilities. But I just prefer to do everything live. I just may call it lazy.
I'd do it. I do it, but I don't want to do it.
Well, that's the thing. You don't have time to do it. And that's the thing for you too, man. You guys are so busy over there at Flat to VR and everything you guys are doing at Impact, and like it's crazy.
So we're back now. I am still kind of getting things pulled up here, but okay. Hopefully that does better.
Sounds good. Sounds better already.
Yeah. I restarted everything, and then I went through the house and made sure that there wasn't anything else on the network at all.
Kids, get off the network. I was just telling people how amazing World of Warcraft is, and so I don't know. I didn't know about the Paradise Decay's UEVR setup video, and it may have. Well, I'm not talking about UEVR. I'm talking about the World of Warcraft VR mod, and it's just not straightforward on how to do it. And so people feel like it's a lot harder than it is. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things to fuck up. You can't.
Yeah.
But it's really not as bad, and it's worth it. Like I was telling them, Wes, that if they said that they liked Zenith at all, they need to go into this game. Because yeah, sure, you can't fly with your arms like this, but you can get a mount and you can fly. You have an auction house. You have raids and dungeons and bosses and actual content to do. And like I was telling Wes, I went into the Outlands for the first time in VR. I went through the portal and I went into the new world, and there was like planets up in the sky, 3 planets, and it just looked so fucking amazing. And then a horde person killed me. A lot of people hate the PvP servers, Wes, but to me it adds a spice to it that either just seeing somebody in the wild that like we see each other, he's red, I'm red, right, to each other, and so I know he's an enemy, but I just want to quest, and he just wants to quest, and we just like kind of we see each other, we get eye contact, and then we just keep going. And then there's that other moment when the dude immediately turns around because he's level 80, and I think, oh fuck, I'm dead. And then sure enough, I'm dead in about 2 seconds, and I'm like, fucker, man, now I got to go all the way across the map. I don't know. I think it's amazing.
It's pretty cool. There's a lot of content there. And like I said when we covered the game, there are things obviously that are still kind of flatified about it. That Zenith does better, but 95% of things are like way better in Warcraft. Um, so yeah, if you like that sort of game, it is a little bit of a setup process, but it's free and it is like hundreds of hours of content ready to go. That's pretty high quality if you're okay with like pointing and clicking and pressing buttons.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and especially once you get, to be fair, once you get everything set up, you know, if I hit my my B button to tab target the thing, and then I hit my button combos on my controller, it's no different to hit my trigger and grip than and to do a move than it is. I mean, you're doing the same thing for any other move in VR. It's just the difference is I'm pointing at the thing where I'm tab targeting to highlight them, but I'm still using touch, and I'm still, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's I think it's semantics in a way. It's, don't get me wrong, it's not the same as swinging a sword or actually doing a bow and arrow. It's not even close, but I think it's amazing. So
Yeah, pretty cool. Anyways, I think it's about time we get the show on the road. Especially with all these fine people in chat. Why don't we say hello to them? A bit of a different crowd today, which I'm digging. Techno Glitch is here as always. PD's here. What's up, friend? SpryGuy's here on his birthday. Did you know that SpryGuy's birthday's on my anniversary?
I didn't know that, man.
Pretty
You know,
crazy.
his birthday's was on my. He messaged me last week to say happy birthday, and I was like, oh, it's, you got the day right. I said, I must have my birthday out there wrong. And he's like, oh, I apologize. I said, dude, you were thinking about me. And I don't care if you got, but we tell him happy birthday, 100 times a year. So I appreciate it.
Right. Hawk 107's here. Mr. Lord Beavis is here. Is there a preferred server for VR players? We've been playing, what's it called? Ice Crown?
Yeah,
Something like that?
Ice Crown on Warmain, and I guess we're just not allowed to link it. We can mention it. But yeah, Ice Crown Warmain. Some people going to what is the name? There's a funky name, kitty sounding name for the non PvP server. But Ice Crown Warmain has been around for I think 12 years, or it's been around forever. The server's popping. It's like you go into Dalaran, and it is crazy. That's the city you need to go to and check out just all the different players with the different mounts and the different gear that from all the different raids that they've done, and then all the gear is just so elaborate and so cool looking, and you just walk around, look at different people, and it's that's cool. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, I just lost your camera. Yeah, and you're breaking up a little bit, so I don't know if that's internet or if it's. Oh, there you go. You're back.
Weird, man. I guess it wouldn't be a virtual stranger show even on Monday if we didn't have some shit going down.
Shout out to Miles. I don't know if you saw Miles Dyer in there in the chat as well.
No, we haven't gotten there yet. But what's up, Miles? Thanks for stopping
I'm gonna
by.
wait to not waiting. I'm gonna announce him first.
Tatum's here. Classy Grandma is here. My wife is here. Ryan Brannon is here. AppJ as well. Lage SE is here. There's Miles. What's up? Let's see. Shapeshifter, the Amorphous Gamecat's here. Looper's here. Old Darth, Cupra AL, Mickey Barrios, Xbox, Game Pass, Only Bitch, and sometimes PS4 LOL is here. Bad Robo is here. That Dank Cheese is here. Hooked Worm, the Hoosier Game Cat, is here as well.
Paradise
Game Cat
Decay says you got
Bonutter.
abducted and probed. You know who else loves to be probed?
My mom.
Oh, yeah, she does.
She does. Ryan B is here. Chinatown D is here. Nihilist Ryan, the game feline. Thank you for the $5 donation. I can finally catch this live. And tip. Thank you, Ryan. That's awesome. Who else is here? Pant is here. Gamertag VR. What's up, GT? Welcome, friend. Wow, my chat's all gone because I logged out and came back. Now I can't scroll up any higher. That's as far as I can go.
Well, so, everybody else, you know who you are. You were here first, and people asking again about the whether the Returnal rumor's true, and then other people saying what Returnal thing. I think more now that we've actually had a couple of other things thrown out there, I think it's probably more likely that it is a comic book thing.
Yeah,
but who knows, man? Like, I like the speculation of running with it. Yeah, it's PlayStation VR 2, and that's because I want it to be. Because I think when we know what's coming, at least we know from people that have told people we know that it's coming. So
let's use a little logical deduction here. If Sony were going to announce a major first-party AAA VR game, would they do it on a whim like that through social posting? Or, there's been a lot of rumors that there's going to be a PlayStation showcase next month. Wouldn't it more likely happen there?
Probably. But, if it was going to happen differently with any game, I could see it being, because Returnal already exists. People already know what it is. Get a little bit of buzz around it. Maybe they're planning. The only thing I guess that would make sense is if something bigger than that was also coming at that showcase, right? Because then,
true. Like maybe they're going to announce the Returnal sequel and then also the Returnal VR game,
or Astrobot 2. I would take that in a heartbeat. I was watching my or telling my roommate I just sold my PS5 because I don't need it. I got my PSVR 2 to hook up to D's PS5 downstairs, and so he was excited because he's getting to get in. He's moving up from PS4, and then that frees me up when the Pro comes out. Maybe if it's worth it to pick it up, but
I've got my PS5 hooked up to D's right now.
Do you really?
D's nuts.
That's right.
Sorry, I had to. We did have some slippies coming through. People like Gustavo Barandas are here. El Pato El Gato del Juego says my mom is here.
Yeah, she is.
Steve IRE is here. Natty What's Up is here. Roy Schwartz. It's Free VR Real Estate. Fills You Up. Prophecy 777. Melkaya, the Soul Reaving Game Cat. Mad Vegan. And I believe that is it. If I missed you, my apologies. What's up, Diz? I see you. I know you're here. What's up, Salvador? What's up, everyone? Salvador Ruuts. I guess we shouted him out during the last episode. Our latest patron just got added to the role and added to the outro today. So thank you, Salvador, for your support. I put up your Black Trail video this morning, Ruuts, with the show notes. So that they now have their latest exclusive content. Plus they have the show notes with the cutting room floor that's like 3 weeks of news all laid out there to kind of make up for us being away. And I went ahead and recorded the next exclusive gameplay for the Patreon. I was playing MADiSON.
Oh, nice.
Ruuts. MADiSON VR.
Man, patrons are starting to get a lot of shit now all of a sudden. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, well, I feel bad. That they kept supporting while we were away, and we didn't give them much. So I kind of feel like we need to make it up to them now. The ones that kind of stuck around and stuck it out. So We appreciate you, and that's what all this is about. You know, these videos we're putting up, they're not like full on produced things. Most of my stuff doesn't even have commentary in it. Um, the MADiSON one does, but it's not like I'm shooting a video. My microphone is on, and every now and then something scares the fuck out of me, and I go fuck. Um, but I'm not. It's not like I have a monologue going on. It's just me hanging out in the game.
Basically, no commentary. It's just Wes getting scared every once in a while. I have no choice but to scream. I don't know. For me, even when I'm playing by myself, I don't know if it's because I've streamed so many times. I'll if somebody was outside my door, they would think, "Oh, he's streaming." No, I'm talking to nobody. It's just I play the game and I just start talking to people. So
here's the thing, though. I'm doing this, and my wife is sleeping 3 feet from me.
You don't have, yeah. You're
So,
trying to be a respectful husband.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't make it to 24 years marriage for nothing, bro. I know when to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, especially early in the morning. Yeah, it's crazy.
What's up, Inferno9? What's up, Thomas Richards? What's up, Berber Cat? Ruuts, I think people have come here today for some VR talk. Let's give them some VR talk.
Hey, is this on? All right, some updates on the metaverse today. We are releasing Meta Horizon OS, our operating system that powers Quest virtual and mixed reality headsets, and we are partnering with some of the best hardware companies out there to design new headsets that are optimized for all the different ways that people use this tech. Now, in every era of computing, there are always open and closed models. And with phones, Apple's closed model basically won out. Phones are tightly controlled, and you're kind of locked into what they'll let you do. But it doesn't have to be that way. In the PC era, the open model won out. You can do a lot more things, install mods, you've got more diversity of hardware, software, and more. So our goal is to make it so that the open model defines the next generation of computing, again, with the metaverse, glasses, and headsets. So that's why we're releasing our operating system so that more companies can build different things on it. We've been building Meta Horizon OS for about a decade. We started building it off Android, and while it's still compatible, we've now built it into a much broader and more capable mixed reality and spatial computing OS. The key ideas behind Meta Horizon OS are a feeling of presence with people no matter where you physically are, bringing digital objects like huge screens into your physical space, navigating and interacting with virtual spaces, and supporting developers and creators and building all these new apps and experiences. You can do all this on Quest today, but now we're also working with Lenovo, Asus ROG, Xbox, and more to build headsets that are going to be designed for specific use cases. So you can imagine a lightweight headset that pairs with your computer on your desk to provide the best work experience, whether you're at home or anywhere else you go. Or you can imagine one that's fully focused on watching immersive entertainment like movies and videos with the highest resolution OLED screens. Or think of one that's fully optimized for gaming with support for all kinds of different peripherals and haptics. You can imagine one that's designed for exercise, that's extra light with sweat-wicking materials. Or maybe just a version that comes out of the box with Xbox controllers and a Game Pass so that you can immediately just start playing on a big screen anywhere you go. We're also, as part of this, going to be opening up our store to give you even more options to use whatever experiences you want. So whether they're on Steam, Xbox Cloud Gaming, our own App Lab, or even Google Play, if they're up for it, our philosophy is that we want you to be able to run the content on Quest or any Meta Horizon operating system headset. All right, so opening our OS, that's the next step in bringing all these different use cases of the metaverse to everyone. It's probably going to take a couple of years for some of these new products to start launching, but I'm really excited to get started on this next chapter and to get this into your hands as soon as possible. Hey.
Oculus founder reacts to Horizon OS news. Hopefully it isn't too late. This is from Ben Lang at Road to VR. Meta dropped a major announcement yesterday saying it plans to allow select partners to build third-party headsets that will run Horizon OS, formerly Quest OS. This news is prompting significant discussion within the XR industry, including from former Oculus founder Palmer Luckey. Here's a quick primer for those of you who are newer to the XR industry. What eventually became the Quest headset and Horizon OS platform from Meta started when the company bought a VR startup called Oculus back in 2014. Oculus was founded. Although he went on to found a military defense technology company after his ousting, Lucky remains an influential voice within the XR industry, even if he did build a headset designed to kill the wearer.
Who wouldn't want
So
to do
that
that?
brings us to this week's Horizon OS news. The biggest move that Meta has made with its XR strategy in years. The company says it will allow select partners to build their own headsets which will run Horizon OS, with the hope that the range of headset choices will expand while sharing a common software platform for users and developers. Although it's still far from this vision, this is Meta's first major step toward its stated goal of wanting to be the Android of XR. What does Oculus founder Palmer Luckey make of the news? Well, it's an I told you so moment, a decade in the making. Lucky tells Road to VR that opening up the platform to third party headset makers was, quote, explicitly our plan over 10 years ago, but Facebook would later pivot Oculus hard away from it. He points to an interview from 2014 in which Brendan Uribe, CEO of Oculus at the time, reasoned, quote, if we do want to get 1 billion people on virtual reality, which is our goal, we're not going to sell 1 billion pairs of glasses ourselves. We're openly talking to any kind of partner that wants to jump into VR, and there's a lot of interest right now. And the company, in fact, pursued the strategy. In 2015, Oculus teamed up with Samsung, which released Gear VR, a headset shell which worked by slotting a Samsung phone into the device to function as the brains and display of the headset. The headset software platform, however, was made by Oculus. Samsung released several iterations of Gear VR over the years, but ultimately the effort didn't find product market fit, and Samsung discontinued the devices. Today, Lucky says, I always strongly believe that Oculus should endeavor to build a technology platform that powered and supported every VR headset, even competitors like HTC Vive. This was always the correct strategy. Hopefully, it isn't too late. So this is interesting, Ruuts, for on a number of different reasons. First of all, people were scoffing. I guess it was a year, maybe 18 months ago, maybe even 2 years ago, when I think it was Zuck at the time, again during either a Connect talk or maybe it was a gaming showcase, came out and said that they were making Quest an open platform. And people said, haha, yeah, right. We'll believe it when we see it. Well, here we are. We're seeing it. They're basically allowing other manufacturers to come in and build quests. Now they won't be called quests, and they won't be exactly like quests. This isn't a case where these different companies are just going to make knockoffs that do exactly the same thing. Um, this is a case where one manufacturer is going to make one for business and enterprise with those sorts of features. Another one's going to make a headset that's made to be more active and people using it for exercise and active like esports and that sort of thing. And then uh, there's going to be manufacturers that make gaming focused ones, and they specify Asus here specifically as someone who's working on a gaming focused headset. These are all going to be specialized headsets with special use cases, probably higher quality components and higher price tag to go with it. But this is something that the enthusiasts, such as you and myself, have been calling for some time. Give me a Quest that not only runs the standalone stuff great, but give me something that I can hardwire into my computer with the display port and play PC on. And it seems like we're gonna finally get that headset and then some.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess on some point I see Palmer Lucky's point, but at the same point, that strategy going too open to the public too early, it can be not good either, right? Like what Meta did is they solidified where they're at first, and now they're opening it up once they've got that, pretty much
They
the whole
built it.
market. They built it, yeah. They're in the driving seat, and I think that's where they want to be, right? But I do agree in that I don't think it's too late though. I disagree with him on that. I
Still
agree with
early.
his little goatee there is cool, but yeah, no, it's too early. Or it's
No,
still
this is
early.
his way. It's his way of saying "I told you so." But putting that little "hopefully it's not too late" on there is just him, just another way of him pointing out that this is what I said we should do, and you guys should have done it sooner. Um, I think they know exactly what they're doing, and I think it's smart. I mean, with all the billions of dollars that they've been sinking into this on their own, they came to the realization in recent years that they can't do it on their own. Like they're going to need help, or I mean, they could do it on their own, but it'll take like 2 or 3 times as long as it would take if
Right.
they welcome in partners. And I think this is a wise move. And some of the things that Zuck said down that in that little talk there, I found to be particularly interesting, especially when he was talking about opening up the Quest store. Not only is that going to mean that now App Lab is being integrated into the store, so that all of these App Lab titles will now be searchable and you can find them, which is cool. We've been calling for that for a long time. Um, but when he talked about bringing in third party storefronts into the Quest store, um, and he went down the line of all these different stores that we could potentially see directly on the headset, the first thing that he said, Ruuts, was Steam. The very first one that he listed off before Google Play Store or any of these other mobile app stores, the first thing he said was Steam. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Steam is not a mobile app store. Steam is a PCVR store. And the fact that that's at the top of the list that he
Mm.
ran down, I find to be very curious, Roots. Especially when we're talking about working with someone like Asus on making a gaming focused headset. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that could mean playing flat Steam games inside your headset. I'm sure they're working on that. But it could also mean integration with Steam VR and you know a further revival of PCVR, which we have been seeing some PCVR revival over the last year. So I think that there's a lot of good things that could come out of this, and really the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I agree. What are your thoughts on the OS Horizon OS working on PC? Corporate Zombie wants to know.
Uh like
Like the whatever that new Horizon operating system, is it going to come to the
well,
PC?
it's not really a new thing. It's basically just the Quest software, only now being opened up for everyone to use. So I guess if we were to see a PC iteration of that, what we would see is um, whichever of the partners, software partners, offered up PC apps, we would probably see those in the link store on the PC. So we might see a Steam thread directly in the Oculus software, so to speak. As far as like seeing them like running mobile games on PC software, I don't really see that. I mean, I guess it's possible, but they would like literally have to emulate Android on Windows machines. And that's a
Mm,
very resource intensive thing to do
true.
with vanilla Android. Not to mention all of this highly modified stuff that Meta has built on top of it. So I don't think we'll ever see anything like that where you're going to be um, playing Asgard's Wrath 2, running it on your computer, playing it through your headset. Not anytime soon. But I do think that we could see some of the features that are being integrated into Quest OS also being integrated into the Link Store and the PC based Oculus Home or whatever pops up to replace it at some point.
Yeah. Well, Quest 4 eye tracking, you heard it here, and that solves all your foveated rendering, right? You could play all these games on them. That'd be awesome. And you'd have the newest chip, the XR3. No, I don't know. I have no idea what it would be, but that'd be cool.
Honestly, I think eye tracking in the next consumer Quest. I think that they intentionally left it out of Quest 3 because they just had a headset that they charged $1,500 for that had that, and they had to have at least one way that's still better than Quest 3, right? So they let that one have the eye tracking. Plus, they want to pace their generations, right? Like,
juice
if
it.
they had thrown everything into Quest 3 that they had, then what are they going to put in their headset 2 years from now, right? To kind of further push things.
Yeah.
So that'll be a nice Quest 4 feature. I'm sure it'll be something that we see in the Quest Pro 2, which is speculated to come out early next year.
How about this antiquated feature, like a display port? How about giving me a way to hook it up to my PC and assuming that not everybody wants to do wireless gaming? I don't care about wireless, Wes. Like I feel the same today as I did when the PlayStation VR 2 was coming out and everybody was freaking out. Like, it doesn't bother me. The cord doesn't bother me. Ironically, for the first year or two of my VR experience, I obsessed over it. I had to have wireless. Then I got it and I thought, oh, that's cool. But I use this example for a reason. I'm not John Wick all over my room. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm literally sitting right here playing World of Warcraft like this. So there's no reason for me to be wireless. But my problem is when we were talking last night playing Contractor Showdown, we were talking about aliasing and you were like, I don't see it. Well, that's because you're on a G2 with a display port. Well, my question is, why am I wired to this fucking thing and I still am seeing compression? It baffles me that they chose this solution that is, like you were saying last night, pretty much the same connection as wireless, but through a cable. It sucks, Yeah,
I think the reason why is because initially that they had no intention on supporting PC VR with Quest. I think that their full intention was to kill PC VR, but it just wouldn't die.
Thank God.
And this was a feature that people wanted, so they jimmy rigged it basically to make it work with PCVR. And now that they've started on kind of building that platform and that technology out, it only makes sense for them to continue to iterate upon that. So yeah, I think that's kind of what's happening.
And I think their long-term plan is to connect to the cloud, and you won't need the computing power, and there won't be compression because AI will figure it out how to fix that.
Yep. Definitely, the times there are changing. The other big interesting thing about this whole announcement was they announced that they're doing an Xbox themed headset. So like a black and green headset that comes with an Xbox controller right there in the box, and again, just further expanded partnership between Meta and Xbox. And I wish they would just make out already and put the Link Store on Xbox so that we can just complete this full-on revival of PCVR through consoles and get some of those awesome Microsoft IPs as Xbox VR exclusives.
Well, this is probably going to piss off people that are Xbox fanboys, but I don't know that an Xbox, even the most powerful one, is really optimized to run virtual reality. I mean, Sony's jumped through a lot of hoops to get everything to run. Everything's so optimized so well. I think more likely what you have is Xbox doing exactly what you said that Zuck might have Steam doing. And it'll probably will be Steam as well. this will probably be the beginning of the birthing of these flat games that are put into virtual reality on a monitor that's 3D or three-dimensional, or it's a 180 screen, or however they do it. And then that way you're playing all your Xbox games that you've always played, but you're just like I've said, but now you're playing them in a headset, and you know, it's high rate for refresh rate. Maybe you don't have a, you know, the it's better than your monitor, and you're in, you know, you're in it, or you're right there, and then it's 3D, it's three-dimensional. Might be that stepping stone, and that would be what you see on the other end with those apps, but who knows?
Could be. You know, that we all know that that's easily doable in most cases. I mean, we've seen it now with Reshade and with UEVR, and I'm sure that they could do a catch-all with that, or at least
The big games,
have a list of games that support it, right?
right?
Like maybe it's not every game, but maybe it's like half of them or 75% of them or something like that.
Because here's the thing: as much as we love VR the way it is, and we want to aim down the sights, there's a lot of people, like Jim Hall says, that have no interest ever coming into VR. But where you going to get them is if you're saying, look, you can play the same game you've always played as you always play it, but now it's going to be in 3D. And you're going to have, now it's like having a 3D TV, and it's immersion, because we all know even just being in that headset and isolating the rest of the world out and looking at that monitor in there is more immersive. And now it's in 3D, and nothing changes for them. There can still be the Call of Duty god in Call of Duty, but now they're playing on a next level. It'd kind of be the equivalent of having the triple monitors for driving type of thing, right?
Right.
And then they get in the next stepping stone. You know, they're like, well, fuck, I already got this thing, and now the Xbox is powerful enough, the next iteration, and it can run the Link store, and I'm going to try this VR game. Who knows? You know? So, I mean, the reality is it's not coming with controllers. It's coming with an Xbox controller. So whatever you're going to do on there, maybe, I guess, Edge of Nowhere or games like that, because they were designed for the Xbox controller, right? So.
Yeah, Steve has a good point. He says the thing is, you need a cable with the power and video just to keep it powered up when you're playing. They don't tell you that. That's true in most cases. I mean, you either have to buy a moderately expensive head strap and have a sack full of batteries ready to go, or you have to plug it in anyway, right?
I just want the fidelity. I don't really care, and I get it. We're all different. Some people, the wireless is the biggest deal because they are jumping around their huge play space, and they want to, and that's perfectly fine. And that's where wireless comes in. I just thought it was ironic to me because for like literally 2 years, I thought about getting that janky, what was that adapter you could get for the Rift? Oh, CV1 Rift, and it like had you could see like red lines or something, and you had to do all sorts of weird shit to get it to work, and it reduced your FOV, but everybody was like all about it because we had wires, and people still do it with pulleys and all sorts of bullshit. And I just think that most people are making a problem out of something that really isn't a problem.
I have the solution, Ruuts. I have the solution. It is the amazing VR chair, only $300. You can buy my wonderful chair, and
Swivels?
You won't notice that wire at all.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I guess it's all different. You know, I'm just glad it doesn't bother me.
I'm joking. A lot of talk in the chat about that Xbox thing, whether or not it would include motion controllers as well. We don't know. I think it's high time though that Meta just makes their friggin' controllers back compatible. Like they're so similar to one another, with the exception of the Pro controllers. All of the other Oculus Touch controllers are just minor iterations of the same thing.
Well, the Quest 3...
There's no reason that these couldn't work across generations.
Well, the only reason the Quest 3 and the Pro have the extra button right here, right? And so, like, not that anybody uses it, but it's there where you rest your thumb. Well, that's where I rest my thumb. It's not a thumb rest, it's a button. So other than that, there really is no difference too much. I think you should be able to use it either way. You know,
Pisses me off, Roots, because I've been having to play on Quest 2, slum it on my Quest 2, because my trigger is sticking now on my Quest 3, and I haven't taken the time to get on with support and go through that whole bullshit to get some new controllers. Um, it pisses me off because I know I have a dozen touch controllers here, literally, and there's no reason why any of those shouldn't work. I should be able to take my Quest 2 controllers and pair them up with my Quest 3 and just keep right on going. But instead, I'm going to have to park this thing here for a couple of weeks while I wait on them to send me some fucking refurb controllers, just so I can play my $600 headset.
Or make the jump to the Pro controllers. Use that as a reason to upgrade, and then you can swap those out at your leisure. What's funny is I'm sitting here first thinking, how do you get a sticky trigger? And then I remember kids. I've been there when my kids were young, and they're touching stuff and playing stuff. You know, so
maybe I will. Maybe I'll send these headphones back and get some Pro controllers instead. I
think
switched back to my cheapo Sony headphones to play VR. They're just so much more comfortable than these. My head is big, and they barely fit in these headphones. These sound great. Don't get me wrong. These headphones sound great. But for playing VR, they're not the best. And people told me to try to wear the headphones and put the head strap on over the headphones, which I tried. That didn't help.
I love it. I love how everyone's like, dude, let me tell you the secret, man. You got to like twist it sideways. And...
Let me tell you the hoops to jump through to make your $150 headphones kind of work. Like, I didn't want a pair of $150 headphones that kind of work. I wanted the perfect solution. And really the only thing, I might keep them, but it will only be for real-time reviews. Like, if I keep these, it will just be for that one use case. And I don't know if it's worth it for that price tag when, like you said, I could send these back and have half on some Pro controllers or something else useful, you know?
And that will make a difference, you know, not having any drift at all, especially for somebody that loves, you know, shooters. So I know that it was a game changer for D for what's that Eddie's game. So eluding me at the moment.
Ryan says, you know who loves a big ass head? I do.
She loves it a little too much. Sometimes you have to slap her hand. Stop.
I mean, I like these headphones, but they don't add anything to my podcasting experience. They take away from my VR experience because they're less comfortable, and that's immersion breaking. So literally, if I keep them, it would be me spending $150 of the donor's money, just so that I'd have a better solution on the occasion that we real-time review a PlayStation game.
Yeah, Light Brigade, D's says, and Ryan B says, yeah, definitely, I agree. It's not worth. And I guess it's all subjective. You know, that's that one case use. You know, personally for me, I like the headphones I got, which were $50 more than what you have, and they're super comfortable, and they're the opposite of what you said. They're designed for a podcast. So if you were going to get new headphones, that's what I would recommend. Or otherwise keep what you got, you know.
I need something that fits over the PlayStation headset, and the bigger ear cups that come on studio headphones, push them down. Like, to get it underneath the headband, you have to push them down, and it makes it super tight on top of your head. And then you're also putting extra strain, not only on the headband of the headset, but you're putting strain on the headphones as well. And anytime either of them could snap,
right?
And then I'm fucked, right? Like, either way, I'd be fucked. So I'm never comfortable with doing it. And even when I get them kind of in their optimal spot, it's not comfortable. It doesn't hurt per se, but it is annoying.
That's a big take back for me. Everything you just described, I couldn't keep it. And it's just like, because every time you're going to use it, you're going to hate it. It doesn't feel good. It's not optimal. You can make them work. Has that one case use, but how many times do we do real-time reviews where you're doing a PlayStation VR game as well? So, all of those things, I think half of a one, either left or right, you choose. You can say that's the half that paid for the controller, and then you can pay for the other half.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just where I'm at right now. When I was playing MADiSON last night, I decided to switch back to my $15 Sony headphones, which sound pretty dang good. And
Sony knows what they're doing, man, with the cheap headphones.
They're very comfortable. Yeah, they're very comfortable. So,
and if they snap, you're not going to be like that upset. You just go spend another $15.
No, I've got 3 pairs of them here right now. Basically, the only thing I need to do to use them as podcast headphones is get a cable extension. The cable's too short to reach my computer over there, but I'm sure for like $3 I could get a cable extension to make them work. And the thing that made me think about it was I was watching a fairly notable podcaster on YouTube, not a VR podcaster, but a big channel with millions of subscribers the other day. And the headphones that they were using, there's 2 hosts, the headphones that they were using were my cheapo Sony headphones that I use for everything.
Isn't that I see that all the time too. Like you'll see a really big person that has a channel or whatever, and the mic that they're using is like the cheap USB mic, right? Like not like the good USB mics.
Right.
And you're like, no, did you go get a different mic today? But
anyways, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm kind of on the edge of sending these back. I haven't even looked. I don't know how long I've had them, or if they're still within return range. But if they are, I might.
Where'd you buy them?
Amazon, I think.
Oh, well, there's your best shot. I think it's been a long time. I think we've talked about this for a couple months, maybe a month or 2.
Yeah, probably.
But
yeah, I don't know. I'll look into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm crossing fingers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, they sound good and they work well for podcasting. That's not why I got them. It's not what I got them for. I mean, it kind of is, but that's not the reason I chose these ones.
Right. It was for that specific case use. Yeah. At least you still got that.
Anyways, at least we can still do that. Right. Anyways, let's move along and actually talk about some damn VR games. Alien Rogue Incursion finally announced from Veteran VR Studio, set for late 2024. This again from Ben Lang at Road to VR. We've been waiting patiently for Veteran VR Studio Servios to finally offer up some details on its next game, and we finally have them. Alien Rogue Incursion is described as a single-player action horror VR game with an all-new storyline full of heart-pounding action, exploration, and terrifying xenomorphs. Almost 2 full years after Servios confirmed development on an Alien game in partnership with 20th Century Games, the studio has now confirmed the game's title, target platforms, and release window. Alien Rogue Incursion is planned for a release date of holiday 2024, so very likely early December. The game will be released on PSVR 2 and PCVR. And for Quest, our understanding is it will be exclusively available on Quest 3. Our team at Survios are huge fans of Alien, have been building Alien Rogue Incursion for a long time, honing our ability to pair the most technically advanced, immersive, and engaging VR experiences with best in class franchises, says TQ Jefferson, Chief Product Officer at Survios. This fully original story embraces all our favorite elements from 45 years of Alien, from kinetic action and heart pounding exploration to our terrifyingly resourceful xenomorphs that will truly make your skin crawl. We can't wait for fans to get their hands on it this holiday season. So, Ruuts, we've been cautiously optimistic about this one since it was revealed a couple of years ago. Coming from Survios, we know that Survios is a very capable studio. They always produce something that's highly polished and looks and sounds good. Some of their gameplay loops have been hit and miss as of late. Um, but I'm hopeful for this one, not only because they have been working on it for years, and it is an Unreal Engine title, which is there's two big check marks there. But they're saying all the right stuff. Like this is supposed to be heavily story based, which is great. The other story based game that they did was Westworld Awakening, and we remember how great that game was, right? It was like pretty high standard in terms of photorealism at the time. Did a really good job sticking in the world of the television show, and really they released something that was one of the better VR games of that year. So I'm hopeful that we're going to get something similar here. They're hitting all of my trigger words. They said horror, they said exploration, they said story based. Like, this is what we were hoping for from this game. And at least in their description, it seems like they're planning on giving us what we want.
I hope so, because that's the point. Their words. Fluke Rogi said the exact same thing I was thinking. Where's the gameplay? We're talking years of development, and now it's April, so we're 7 months. 7 months if you go November, Thanksgiving, holidays. 8 months. If you think there's some gameplay, and so what's that?
People always say this, Ruuts, when the first trailer comes out. The first trailer always comes out and it's some kind of cinematic thing, or it almost never has gameplay. And people always say, "Where's the gameplay?"
I just have such a bad taste in my mouth from the last big budget movie game that the gameplay, not the story. I don't know much about the story, but the gameplay was horrible. And so, and a couple things have changed since Westworld came out. We've had a lot of different types of games. I don't really want episodic things anymore. I almost didn't then. Westworld was really good, but I don't want an episodic Aliens game, and that's probably what we're going to get. And for whatever reason, we can't seem to get past this episodic thing. Maybe, but after we played this Aliens Fire Team the other day, that was so good. I want that or something like that. And I don't know that this is going to be anything like it. And unfortunately, because this is the first trailer, and you got a good point on that, I don't know what the fuck this game is. I got a bunch of words and a cool trailer. I thought the Walking Dead trailer looked badass when it first came out, before, about this time when we saw the first. And then fast forward. Now, the saving grace, assuming this is true, they didn't have to stop production halfway through Alien Rogue Incursion and say, "Oh shit, we have another game coming out in VR that's way better than ours. We got to pivot," because that really is what screwed The Walking Dead. So maybe this is good, maybe it's not. I can't look at Survios' name in 2024 and say this is going to be a good game. It's Survios. I can't.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's
I
true.
can say they have put out some good games, like Westworld. I really did enjoy it. So.
Yeah, they're a very capable studio. There's no question about that. But you're right. Their gameplay has been hit and miss. They seem to be better actually early on in their life than they than they were later. Like their later releases were the weakest ones. Um, but I think that they took some hard lumps from the Walking Dead game that they put
True.
out, and hopefully they learned some hard
Oh, I
lessons
want
from
this to
that.
come out and be fucking amazing, phenomenal. Even if it's a story-based game that's really good, that doesn't have too much action, just make it a real game. I'm just tired of feeling like because I'm playing a game in VR, it has to be less than, because it doesn't. It should be more than. And it just feels like a lot of developers don't take the chances to make it more than. And so you have a lot of games that are, in the middle, mediocre, and I'm over mediocre. I want amazing games, flat and VR. I want to get to a day, Wes, where I start to feel like I did 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where I'm like, I'm not touching a game flat. But I could never do that right now because the VR is not good enough. But there will be a day, because I'm having a hard time thinking about playing World of Warcraft flat because that mod is so good that it's tainting my flat experience. That's what we should have for every game in VR. Should be hands down the best. So,
A lot of words in this promo, but one significant word missing that I absolutely love, and that is the word two. Not for Oculus or MetaQuest 2, only advertised for MetaQuest 3, PC VR, and PlayStation VR. I think that in and of itself is a good omen.
Yeah, not if you're a Quest 2 owner. You need to start thinking to upgrade. And honestly, you need to upgrade it. Like the difference between Quest 2 and Quest 3, or for me, Quest Pro, and that's the only reason I didn't get the 3. The pancake lenses are hands down the best thing about it. It's just a different level of clarity. We did get a $10 super chat from the Violator, the Game Cat, Metal Messiah, for $10 super chat. And then, the same person, another $10, found the perfect sticker for Wes's $300 VR chair.
And you can see the sticker there. It's this guy, this little hippo, sitting in a VR or sitting in a chair, and then the chair collapses and they're
nice.
That does happen sometimes. If you try to play like a super active game when you're in your chair, it can tip on you.
Yeah.
You have to be careful.
Yeah, you don't want to go spinning around too much, right?
Michelle B says, "Don't tell me that Ruuts, I can't get sucked back in the WoW."
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's amazing and it's cool. I think one of the best things about it is being able to sit back and chill and actually run around with a joystick. I always wanted to level with a controller, but it just never was feasible. And now that I've figured out, Wes, how to which is not even hard, just keep rebinding the things, the switching those bars that you hit by trigger by accident, you can rebind those to abilities. So now when I hit trigger, I do one ability, or if I hit the grip and the trigger, it's a different ability. So my bars never change, because that's something that is so easy to just click and change if you want to do it. And I'm also, I'm going to get rid of my menu button and my map button. My map button, I'll probably wait till I hit 80, but those are also things you don't have to open up on a dime. And I may get rid of my mounting button as well, because again, I can click my a little icon on the thing and pull my mount up. So having 11 different abilities would be a lot better than 6, adding those extra 5. So
yeah, sure, absolutely. Steve says, that you fucked up when you're making a game when you make the melee weapons more powerful than the guns. Yeah, that's a little weird normally.
the red mist, like as soon as that whole thing dawned, I've realized what that was. As we were talking about it, I was like, this game is like, that's a special level of lazy or oversight, I guess I could say, because that's big. So
yeah, it's like we were playing Contractors or something, and the zone bubble was coming in on us. Only it's not a battle royale shooter game; it's a zombie game. Where that's supposed to be a war game.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's the same thing as if you're outside the bubble. Yeah, you have zombies, except for you can hear them. Yeah, crazy.
Anyways, I am cautiously optimistic about Alien Rogue Incursion. I do understand that Servios typically does very arcadey games, and to be honest, I'm not opposed to the action in this game being more arcade style, as long as there's some exploration and stealth to break all that up. I think that they can deliver very effective single player story driven experience here.
I think Alien Fireteam Elite is fucking amazing, and I think it's fun. Good. It is good, right? I hope it's something.
We got a bunch of comments today from Main Fan. He's a big fan of it as well.
Really? Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Main Fan, I'm a big fan. We should play together.
He's putting some tips in the chat, bro. We should go back and read through that shit before we play again.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'll tell you what, there are a lot of tips, and like I'm just kind of scratching the surface, and you were definitely just kind of figuring things out, right? So
yeah, we're still learning it, very much so.
Well, see, that's why I really wish Helldivers 2 was in VR with a mod, and hopefully someday they'll get that in there, because it's very similar to that gameplay wise, but like 100 times better with friendly fire, where you can kill your friends and blow them up with mortars and all sorts of shit by accident, Wes. But yeah, so no, so hopefully that'll come to VR.
Hopefully it all comes to VR one day. You know what I'd like to see in VR one day, Ruuts? Zombie Army.
Rated M for mature.
Platz hier. Scheiße. Dead Hunter. This is occult magic. Only by killing enough of the horde will you be able to break the seal. My memories of this place are poisoned. My family. I am sorry I failed you.
Help me. That mournful sound. The bell. Something draws the dead to it. Something evil. Father, I'm here. I'm trapped. Please let me out.
How Zombie Army VR adapts the Sniper Elite spinoff for a new medium. This is from our friend Henry Stockdale at Upload VR. In a crowded field of zombie shooters, Zombie Army VR believes it can make a lasting impression. Oh, so this is an interview. Developed by Rebellion, Zombie Army VR closely follows last November's launch of Sniper Elite, Winter Warrior. Featuring online 2-player co-op, this campaign sees you reprising the role of a dead hunter as you fend off undead Nazis. Rebellion provided Upload VR with exclusive screenshots, which you can alongside the new story trailer below. We can, Ruuts, alongside the new story trailer. We recently spoke with Jordan Woodward and Chris Cook, heads of design for Rebellion and XR Games respectively, to learn more. As to how Zombie Army VR distinguishes itself from the competition, Woodward believes the paranormal setting sets it apart from more realistic or survival-focused competitors, while Cook believes the general vibe helps. World War II plus zombies with the old equipment is not really offered in many places. We're pushing for that sort of tactile but fast-moving gameplay. Things like making the gun handling as fast as possible, keeping the tempo up, and staying true to its flat screen lineage, Cook responds. Despite this fast-paced approach, Cook says Zombie Army VR still includes full manual reloading. We're trying to make that as robust and as easy to use in the thick of it as possible. And other European locations. Led by Captain Hermann Wolf, you're tasked with fighting the undead hordes near Nuremberg to save Europe and reunite Wolf with his family. Then I ask a crucial question. Can you kill Zombie Hitler? We don't have Zombie Hitler in this one, but we have some other big baddies to kill, Woodward tells me. Woodward tells me that Zombie Army VR stays faithful to the flat games, but clarifies that we haven't brought over everything. You'll find a few Zombie Army 4's enemies, like armored giants, covered in metal plating and snipers. Cook states a ranged threat adds variety and believes the problem with fighting zombies in some games is that it cannot often get a bit rinse and repeat. There aren't a lot of zombie games with zombie enemies that shoot back at you or behave like a sniper. Our zombies might not always be fully accurate because they're zombies. Woodward says the teams don't view Zombie Army VR as a port and left out certain enemy types because they believe they didn't fit, saying gameplay has been adapted for bite-sized chunks compared to the flat screen games. I'm later told that the game uses a similar mission system to both Sniper Elite VR entries. Cook confirms that they're trying to make Zombie Army VR feel similar while not being exactly the same, calling this tricky to balance. He reasons that VR offers more freedom with the two-handed gameplay than you'd normally get, telling me the teams looked at previous Zombie Army games and concluded that some encounters would be pretty hard in VR. Detailing the adaptation challenges further, Woodward mentions that they adapted the HUD elements for greater immersion, using wristwatch approach to show your combo counter and health. With performance, the game targets a locked 72 frames per second on Quest, while PlayStation VR 2 and PC VR aim for 90 frames per second. On PSVR 2, Rebellion tells me that Zombie Army VR supports haptic feedback for both the headset and the Sense controllers, eye tracking for foveated rendering, and adaptive triggers. Haptics are also supported. Zombie Army VR will reach PSVR 2, Quest, Rift, and Steam in 2024. A lot of information here to unpack, Ruuts, but I don't think anything is as exciting as the last line, which basically says they're going to utilize PSVR 2 to its fullest capability. And that's a pretty good start.
It's a good
right?
start, finish, good everything. Unless you don't know how to. I don't know why a dev wouldn't want to utilize everything. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a new game and you're not trying to build on an old engine. That's usually the reason why, right? So, I think that looks cool. And hopefully it'll be as cool as it looks. I know Sniper Elite was good, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. The trailer looked good.
Yeah, I mean, I expect that the gameplay here is going to be very similar to Sniper Elite, which I love. I love that game. But at the same time, this is a very different looking game than Sniper Elite.
Right.
Not that Sniper Elite was a bad looking game. It actually looked quite good. But it wasn't exactly as realistic looking as this appears to be. I was just saying this to you during the break. We're starting to see the games catch back up again in terms of production. Like, we had our early era of VR where the games looked great and everyone was yelling, looks aren't everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Quest era came around and people ate their fucking words for years because apparently while looks aren't everything, apparently they're worth a lot more than people were giving credit for in the early days. But thankfully now the hardware is starting to catch up. Now we have new optimizations and the games are starting to look like legit games again.
I still submit that the games that have really good gameplay, we see how many games have we played that didn't look fantastic, as far as production wise, but the gameplay loop was fun. And you know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, that's more important than how it looks. But if you can make it look good at the same time. And what I thought was kind of cool about this article was the fact that they're trying to stay true to the series they're bringing into VR, right? And that means more than anything. We have our idea of what we want, but what about the people that love Zombie Army? They need to have the game that they know in VR and feel like it's their game, right? Not adapted to what we would want. And however they do it, I'm sure they'll make it, so true to form that it'll just be badass. And that's what games need. It's not that a lot of these games can't be made, brought over and amazing. It's just a lot of devs don't take the time to do it, to make it really amazing. And I think this will be really good. So
it looks really good. I did find their response funny though when they asked him like, what sets this game apart from other zombie games? I'm like, oh, it's totally different. Our zombies are Nazis, so like it's way different. Like, oh, okay. So then we can kill zombie Hitler?
Yep,
no, you can't kill zombie Hitler.
Not zombie Hitler, but I did like the fact that you get to shoot at pentagrams and anything satanic. I want to take it down. I'm there to take it down. I'll shoot it, kill it, skin it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get your thoughts on MADiSON this weekend, dude, on Saturday. You should be playing it now because I think it's one of these games that I'll probably have it finished by Saturday.
Oh wow!
And it's good. I can't say much about it, but I'll say that it's what I like. It's the type of game I like.
Oh wow! Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not too much into horror, but depends on what the game. I loved Resident Evil 7 and 8 as well, but
it's a unique game. I'll say that. Like we don't really have anything else like this.
Does it have anything to do with one of the ex-presidents, MADiSON? Probably not. Probably different MADiSON, right?
No, different MADiSON.
Damn it!
Completely different MADiSON. But no, I'm excited for Zombie Army VR. Just one of many games that are coming in 2024 that look just amazing. The year's winding down, dude. Like it's almost summertime. Wanderer comes out in June, and you know what? It's May. Like it's about to be May in a couple of days, and the Wanderer remake comes out in June.
So, and that's a game I'm looking forward to. Built from the ground up, was already amazing the first time around. And again, a good dev makes a game even better, right? So
yeah, we've got Wanderer coming, we've got Zombie Army VR coming, we've got Behemoth coming, Arcane Age, just so many amazing high quality VR games still on the menu for this year.
I can hear PD right now. You know who else is coming?
My mom!
Yeah, she is, PD.
Anyway, it's a interesting theme, kind of bringing the old days of the old glory days of VR back to life again in 2024, and some devs are taking that even more literally than others.
Hello? Is anyone there? I don't know where this elevator just took me, but this is not my hotel. Please don't be the sex closet. Please don't be the sex closet.
If you've seen this, it means that you have received my message. I need your help. It's not consequent that this message reaches.
Wait, I played this already. This is called Really Warm, right?
You have the VR gear. You can access the simulation.
Warning. Warning. Entering cold VR may result in reality distortion, with users reporting suspicions about their dog's secret agent activities.
Man, what the f-
Glitches within the system could potentially lead to complete mind corruption and irreversible brain damage.
Let's fucking go! Am I in the fucking back rooms? Oh, oh,
Cold VR is super hot VR in reverse, but much more chaotic. This from Kevin Link at Mixed News. A demo of the VR shooter Cold VR has recently been released on Steam. I tried out the VR game, which is reminiscent of Super Hot VR. Cold VR is a VR shooter for PC VR that is very similar to Super Hot VR in terms of visuals and structure. There's no release date yet, but a demo is available on Steam VR where you can try out some of the game's levels. While it may look like a clone of the popular Super Hot VR port, Cold VR does one thing completely differently. Time only stands still when you move, the opposite of Super Hot VR's gameplay. You can also move freely, which makes the gameplay much faster and more chaotic. But how does Cold VR play? To test Cold VR, I connected my Quest 3 directly to my computer using a link cable. After starting the game, I found myself in kind of a hub. Here I have to choose from 6 levels, a tutorial, and the start of the demo, which takes me through different areas before the game starts and explains the game and the functions in more detail. As already mentioned, the special feature of Cold VR is the fact that time stands still as long as I move. That's why it's important to keep moving, which works perfectly thanks to the fairly fluid controls. This big difference to Super Hot VR makes Cold VR a much more chaotic game. Whereas in Super Hot VR, I could simply take my time and plan my steps, here I have to plan on the fly. It's especially challenging to keep track of things when you're moving quickly from enemy to enemy. When I got to the first level, I found a katana. I immediately went into battle with it and defeated my first few enemies in melee combat, only to realize after a short pause that 2 more enemies were already shooting at me with pistols. I dodged the first bullet with a quick movement and simply blocked the second with my katana, which surprised me a bit. In this style, you progress through increasingly complicated areas and levels. At first, I'm usually only armed with a katana or other melee weapons, but soon I'm holding the first firearms with very limited ammunition. The fact that enemies move when I'm standing still is particularly noticeable here. Aiming at an enemy in peace is typically not a good idea. Instead, I run wildly from cover to cover, trying to make sure none of the enemies can move much. I have a large sword in one hand and a pistol in the other. Whenever I manage to shoot one of the enemies in the chaos and constant movement, I tried my luck. Unfortunately, quite often unsuccessfully, because aiming and shooting in VR and in full motion is by no means easy. As a result, I regularly found myself relying on my melee weapon and charging at the various enemies, only to take them down with a powerful blow. The levels are designed very differently. Once I had to escape from a labyrinth without weapons, which is very reminiscent of the familiar backrooms. These are disturbing, surreal mazes of seemingly endless, monotonous rooms and corridors with yellowish lighting and damp carpeted floors. You can only enter this labyrinth through a glitch in reality and is haunted by creepy creatures. The creepypasta phenomenon recently brought NoClip VR to MetaQuest. In another level, I started on the mast of a ship, connected to 2 other ships by bridges. I had to jump from the mast to kill the first enemy and then use my katana and revolver to take out the crew of all the ships. Due to the many obstacles and narrow planks between the ships, it was especially difficult for me to keep an overview and not get hit. The variety of levels makes each challenge feel fresh. I've come up with a new approach each time and find out what options the current area has for me. These range from different weapons to the ability to jump and take cover. Being a big fan of games like Super Hot VR or Pistol Whip, I truly enjoyed Cold VR. Of course, there were a few glitches here and there in the demo, but overall the game played very well. Only the picking up of weapons was sometimes not as precise as I would have liked. I really like the music, the visuals, and the variety of environments and tasks. Although Cold VR is incredibly chaotic and confusing at first, once you get used to the speed and movement, the mechanics are straightforward to master. I'm excited to see what the full game has to offer, and will definitely give it another try. Alright, so Ruuts here, by all accounts, and I have read a few different opinions on this, by all accounts, they have a very good game here that, while takes heavy inspiration artistically from Super Hot is a very different game in practice than Super Hot. It's similar, and the enemies go down with a single blow, and you have similar weapons. The mechanic is, for all intents and purposes, reversed. Instead of a slow-paced puzzle shooter, this is a very fast-paced speedrunner, which on some level does still maintain that puzzle basis, right? You're still trying to figure out the most efficient way through the level as the kind of core mechanic here. So by all accounts, this is going to be a good game. My question is, does it bother you at all that these people are very blatantly ripping off Super Hot?
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, the gameplay is different enough. A lot of games take inspiration from other games, like where's the line drawn as far as, if it was the same mechanic where, time was stopped when you stopped, or moved and when you moved, and, but it doesn't bother me. I don't know. I guess the question is, will it bother the devs of Super Hot?
Right. Yeah, typically I don't like something being this derivative because it's very clearly just a take on Super Hot. It's different mechanically, but this is just another take on Super Hot. Where it doesn't bother me as much here is because clearly the Super Hot devs are done. Like that game it came out in 2017, and we have seen no iteration upon it, no signs that there's ever going to be any sequel or DLC. They just keep reselling the same game to people on new platforms over and over and over again. And yeah, so I mean, if they were going to do something with it by now, you think they would have. I mean, they could have even ported the flat version of Super Hot in the VR by now, but they didn't. So who knows if we'll ever get to see another Super Hot game. So while it's kind of cheap for these devs to do this, I'm going to give them a pass, I think, because it seems like they've made the gameplay different enough and come up with their own take on it well enough to give people, fans of Super Hot, a new game to play that they will likely enjoy just as much. But again, being just different enough to keep them from being able to be sued.
Well, but the question is, though, like you said, it's 2017, right? Was when they came out with Super Hot, and it's sold very well, and people still buying it. I don't play Super Hot anymore. I haven't played it for a long time. I don't want to play it. It makes me wonder, how much personally I'll be drawn into this game or not. Because even though the mechanic's different, flipped, it's not 2017 anymore, at least for my taste of what I want to play. I'm just curious to see if because I'm one person and one type of taste, and there's people out there that still love Super Hot. So who knows?
Yeah, I was definitely more likely to play standing back then. A game like Super Hot's very difficult to play seated. You kind of have to stand up and play it. And it makes me wonder if this is something that you can use artificial locomotion with, or if this is something I'm going to have to get out of my $300 VR chair to play.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a free demo out there. I suppose we could always just go try it and see. But people are saying good things about it, man. Most of the people that I know that have tried it have liked it. And people aren't giving them as much flack as you would think for being such an obvious clone of Super Hot. It's funny that we see this, and I mentioned this last Wednesday on the Gamescast. Like, never before have we seen a game so directly related to a false leak. Because this is obviously where this came from, right? Do you remember when Super Cold was leaked a few years back, and people thought it was going to be a real thing, and then it wasn't? Here it is, Super Cold.
The devs were like, "Oh my God, they're not doing it, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make a lot of money." Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's the takeaway from me is it looks like if you like Super Hot, you're gonna like this. You know, I like the fact that it's a different take on it. You know, that you're gonna have to approach it completely different than you would Super Hot. Super Hot's all about moving slow and figuring out your moves. Here is like, okay, I need to figure things out as I'm moving, right? So, or try to.
Shades of Grey Matter says, I played Super Hot for the first time a couple of months ago. It hadn't aged well, in my opinion. The mechanics, especially throwing, too janky. That's on PSVR 1, though. Yeah, well, that's a good point. Although I will say that the PSVR 1 port of Super Hot is pretty accurate to
One-to-one?
the PC version and Quest version of it, yeah. The throwing was always kind of weird with Super Hot. It works better if you kind of shovel pass instead of overhand. It always did for me anyway. Like throw it like frisbee style, from your chest outward.
Now you're gonna tell me to shoot hoops like a girl under like. Can't do it, Wes. Not
We
happening.
call that granny style.
Oh, granny
That's what they
style.
call it.
Yeah, I think both of them probably offensive in 2024. Amazing what we got away with when we were younger, right? And I just did it now too, so I guess people hate me.
Canceled our first day back on
Yeah,
Monday.
that's right. That's right. Monday show's canceled.
There's a reason why we go late on the weekends, folks. We're not fit for Monday afternoon.
That's true. That is true.
Anyway, I don't know. I think this could be fun. I don't think it's going to be as profound as Super Hot was in its time because of what you said. The catalog has very much matured since 7 years ago. So this type of game isn't going to be as groundbreaking as Super Hot was in its time.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem. That's the problem with making a game that's like another game is you better hope that it's still, people love that game still, you know?
Right.
Has it
And
passed?
people do. My kids still play Super Hot from time to time.
Yeah,
It's actually pretty good exercise, believe it or not. All the movement you have to do in that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I'll tell you, I would submit going from Iron Forge all the way to Stormwind on foot in World of Warcraft for my little dwarf is a lot of work. But
You need to get one of those treadmills.
I saw somebody using that for a video for Showdown or something, right? The VR treadmills or whatever.
Yeah, the actual one good one is still in production. They're making a new version of it. The Infinideck, which is the only treadmill that I ever saw that I thought to myself, okay, that could work. All this other shit where you have to wear slippy things on your feet and slide your feet across the thing.
What about the wheels? The wheels on your shoes?
No. None of that stuff ever made sense where you have to harness and strap yourself into this fucking thing and then slide your feet to mimic like you're walking. That seems more immersion breaking to me than sitting in a fucking chair and pushing a thumbstick.
Because we all slide our feet when we walk. I think it's the same logic that swinging your arms is gonna, be a good translation for running. It's like, no, that's because I'm not running like that. So why would I? I don't know. Each their own.
Infinideck is an actual treadmill. It's an
Okay.
omnidirectional treadmill that the belt moves in both directions on both axes. And
What's it run?
how much does it cost?
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of
Oh,
dollars.
Jesus. Okay. Well, it's outside of unless I win or get crypto does well or something. I'll tell you what. I would rather, I was going to ask what you would rather have, the yaw or the Infinideck. Like if somebody was just going to give you one and you weren't worried about, tens of thousands or $3,500, I think I'd still pick the yaw. Like I think 100%. It would just be so 100%. Much fun. It'd be like having a roller coaster in your house. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, especially today, because Infinideck, while it's still in development and they're working on a new version of it, it's still work in progress. Like there's still some latency in it, kind of determining where you're going to take your next step, and sometimes that disconnect. It works well when you're walking, The one thing that it does that's still immersion breaking is when you stop, the belt still goes for about a half a second. So when you stop, you don't stop, you slide a little bit. So they're still kind of working that kink out. And again, I think that's one of the big things they're focusing the new version on, is getting it so that when you stop, it stops on a dime. But they're not there yet.
Well, they have that. Somebody's talking about the new Disney treadmill, right? They've got that. I saw that. That would be cool. And when it eventually trickles down to where people can afford it, who knows how much that thing is.
Yeah, right. Anyway, Cold VR, very much so a remnant of old technology. But in our last title of the day, we're going to talk about something that can only be done with very new technology.
Map your entire home and design unique levels to battle solo against waves of drones trying to invade your living space. But these drone fights are just the warm-up for the real challenge. A bullet-time duel with a friend. Dodge bullets, evade laser traps, and anticipate your opponent's movements to land a hit. Experiment with different map layouts within the same space and discover new strategies to win. You can also team up with a friend to take on the cute yet dangerous flying robots until the very last round. Use not just your whole home as an augmented reality battle arena, but also even larger spaces. Adjust the bullet speed to match the pace with the size of the area. Help us refine our vision for mixed reality gaming by joining the Laser Limbo free and open beta now.
Laser Limbo brings mixed reality PvP laser tag to App Lab. This is from Henry Stockdale, Upload VR. Laser Limbo turns your living space into a mixed reality laser tag arena, and an open beta is available on Quest App Lab. Developed by Free Roam AR, Laser Limbo gives you laser pistols and overlays each person's body with an avatar vest. Previously released as a location-based entertainment experience, the Quest Laser Limbo features several modes. Coin chase for collecting cash, the more strategic team puzzling, and shooter, which pits you against AI enemies in solo play or other players. Reminiscent of Laser Dance, each mode also includes laser traps that you must avoid touching. Once you've set up the room layout, the map editor allows you to place spawn locations, virtual walls, and more. The studio states that this editor also lets you create new game scenarios in your home. This is the first time we've seen laser tag-like games in mixed reality. Resolution Games previously announced that it's working on Spatial Ops, a 1 to 8 player competitive multiplayer shooter. Currently in open beta on SideQuest, Spatial Ops supports classic game modes like Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, Free for All, and Domination. Laser Limbo is now available on Quest App Lab, while the full release is planned for Q3 this year. How about it, Ruuts, for the number one no-brainer of all time for MR, right? In-house co-location laser tag. I mean, this is cool, right? This is what MR should be used for right now.
Yeah, something like this. Although I would submit it would be a lot cooler. I thought the whole thing would have looked cooler if instead of seeing a basketball court floor, it was like, I don't know, anything else, like a skinned, they can take objects that are in the real world and skin it over to look like something else, right? It'd still make it, still utilize all the mixed reality without seeing the weirdness of a basketball court floor in the middle of your thing. Although you're probably not paying attention to that because you're running around and shit. But I just think of that every time I look at mixed reality. I just think that they're, for the most part, I can't be the only one that doesn't want to be looking at my real environment. I look at this every day. Give me something that's new, fantastical, but still use the same thing that everything that is actual functional about mixed reality, especially with the game that you're running around. I think this is what you said, a perfect case point where it actually makes sense to be in mixed reality. You can't run around a space in a headset. You're going to run into something. But if you're running around and you're seeing everything, I just think it would be cool if it was like a castle or who knows what kind of environments they could skin over it, So I know that'll be the future, but
I think it's cool that that it can accurately spawn a vest on your opponent, like a pretty elaborate laser tag vest.
True.
And it stays on them, right? Like that's got to take a lot of compute power, not only to recognize who the other player is in co-location, but keep their clothes on them, their virtual clothes, as they run around in your house. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know who wants to take off their virtual clothes in the laser bimbo game?
My mom!
Yeah, not Limbo though, bimbo. So yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think this is cooler than what was it, the Nerf game or whatever, that the gimmicky, you know what I mean? This actually seems cool.
Yeah, I think this is the best use case for MR in its current state is co-location games. Stuff like BAM VR, stuff like this, even Demio in the same room with friends, like room scale Demio, where the whole board takes up your whole room and you're walking around, standing beside your characters, that sort of thing. I think this is the best use case for it in its early stages. And I think that's important to note that we're already doing cool shit like this with it in its pretty much alpha stage, and that this is only going to get better. And, next generation, maybe they are putting textures on your floor and your walls to make it even more cool looking while still keeping you in the familiarity of your physical space.
I think that will come. And I realize it's like, it just computing wise, it's just probably not feasible to do it, right? They're probably right at the edge doing what they're doing. But I'm remiss if I don't tell devs out there, this is what I see down the future. This is what I want. And it doesn't mean this isn't going to be cool in its form. There's not too many games out there. How many games have we been told, like, over the last couple years that we're going to be able to play together with our friends, but then they don't ever flesh out, or, they have a demo or something, and there's a couple.
They mentioned spatial ops there, which Resolution Games announced forever ago. I mean, they started developing that thing on Quest 2. And yeah, it's cool. I've demoed it on show floors and stuff before. And it's cool because it has all those game modes that you like, the capture the flag and the domination.
Wait, does it have a breaching mode though? No, just kidding.
You have to stand beside your refrigerator and keep people from getting in it.
That's right. Got to camp the fridge or attack it. So
anyway, when I see stuff like this, this is what makes me want to go get a second Quest 3 headset so that I can put one on my kids and run through the house and play laser tag. I think this is an awesome thing. And honestly, I wish I would find time to dabble with it more than I do.
Yeah, well,
they fix the room setup now, Ruuts, so that you don't have to draw out all the windows and tables and all the bullshit like you used to. It recognizes that stuff now.
Yeah, it took Apple to do it, and then they were like, we better get on this shit. That feature that we've been working on that we put on the back burner, get it out here now. That's why competition is king, right? Because it probably was Apple's headset, even though it's a completely different thing. People like that aspect, and they said, "Oh shit, we need to push it." So,
all right, knock knock.
Who's there?
Y'all too.
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you what, that's the one to get. Y'all too. You're supposed to say. Oh,
y'all
yeah,
too.
Y'all too. Who?
Y'all two talk too much. Can we please get this fucking show wrapped up?
Dude, please.
That's what everybody's thinking right now. But we do have one more headline. Not for a game this time though. Some nice diversity on today's lineup, and I found this to be very interesting.
Does this not seem a bit crazy to you? Like, who gives away a castle?
Welcome to Killer Castle. Games reveal the truth of a person. The winner shall inherit everything.
This is too good to be true.
You shall each take turns to throw the axe.
Oh my god.
There's only one way out of here. You have to win.
Find a key to move on.
And avoid the guards. The Faceless Lady.
She drives people mad.
We are being hunted. It's not a castle, it's a slaughterhouse.
Review of the VR horror series The Faceless Lady. Scary games set in Irish walls. In the VR horror series The Faceless Lady, Eli Roth invites you into a dangerous game about the cast Killock. I've seen the first half of the series and I'm hungry for more. Meta releases the first episodic VR horror series in collaboration with Eli Roth. The Faceless Lady is set in Ireland and is based on the popular legend of Lady Margaret Hodnett, who is said to haunt the Killock Castle. 3 couples are invited into the castle for a supposedly harmless game that turns out differently than expected. Currently, 4 of the 6 episodes have already been released, which you can watch with MetaQuest 3, Quest 2, or Quest Pro. A new episode will be released every Thursday on Meta TV until the story ends with the 6th and final episode. The Faceless Lady starts with the backstory of Lady Margaret Hodnett and explains how she became the Faceless Lady. The scenes in the past sometimes lack a bit of light for me. A lot of the areas I can look in the 180-degree environment are very dark. This leaves my curiosity a bit unsatisfied. However, as soon as the first couple is introduced to take part in the games around the castle, this problem becomes a thing of the past. Thanks to the overall high production quality, the castle and especially the furnishings look fantastic. I would love to walk through the castle in VR and explore everything. After all 3 couples have arrived and will be the main characters along with the Lord of the Castle, the mysterious games begin toward the end of the first episode. In each of the following episodes, one of the dangerous games is played, which inevitably ends with the elimination of one of the participants. This is Roth's way of maintaining suspense from episode to episode, and he succeeds. Once a game is over, the toll has been taken. I am always curious to see the reactions of the remaining participants and the chasms that open up between them. While there are almost no supernatural events in the first episode, they become more frequent in the following episodes. Although the haunted castle setting and supernatural phenomena would lend themselves to this, jump scares and special effects are rarely interspersed. In most cases, the appearance of Lady Margaret's ghost is appropriately woven into the scenery. Other mysteries are also well staged. Overall, however, the series lives more from the basic cluelessness of the main characters than from the CGI show values. As a viewer, I get excited with them and desperately want to find out what the secret behind the events at the castle. To find out, I accompany the contestants as they search for keys in the castle or make their way through a maze. So, Ruuts, here we have one of the first real attempts at something that we speculated about even years ago, and that is the onset of immersive video content in VR. Something we dabbled with and kind of experimented, watched a few examples of in the early days. Always tended to kind of suffer from the limitations of the hardware at the time, not only in terms of headsets, but in terms of the cameras that this type of stuff was shot with. But those blurry days are gone now, Ruuts. There are new cameras, and there are a lot more VR users out there. So much so that they can get someone like Eli Roth to come in here and produce one of these series. And for those of you who don't know who Eli Roth is a very well-known producer and director of horror movies, like Cabin Fever and Hostel. These are Eli Roth movies. Like, he's a legit horror guy, and he's coming into VR and giving us a series, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, especially from the just that perspective. People know who he is. What's the act? Is the acting really good? It reminds me of, like, there was a game that I played that when I was, it's called Clue VR, or not VR, but Clue. It was a Clue game, but you had a VHS tape, and like you would play the game to some extent, and then there would be a point where you had to play the scene, right? And you'd watch it, and then you had to remember different things about it. And so, like, it reminds me of that to some extent, but I mean, obviously this is more of a horror movie. I did notice at the end, you know, he was saying that he could probably watch it on a normal TV as well and get, I mean, assuming he's kind of alluding that he'd get the same experience. I don't know how you could do that in VR. And if this thing's not, if you feel that way afterwards, then I'd have to go in there and see it myself, really, because
I think I will.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this costs anything if it's on Oculus TV, but it may be behind a paywall. But I didn't even know about this, man. I didn't even know it was a thing until I was just doing research for the show and happened to stumble upon it. But I'm definitely interested in stuff like this. I always enjoyed it back in the day when we were watching kind of the early takes on this sort of content. I was in YouTube just the other day. I spent an hour just doing some virtual tourism because the cameras are so much better now than they used to be. Not to mention the screens and the lenses in the headset.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoy this kind of content if it's well done. And I think if any of them are going to be well done, it's probably going to be this.
Yeah. Well, it definitely has the best chance of it. And I just wonder what the casting and, you know, we were held back by the technology, and now you're either going to be held back by casting or story.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's not going to have A-level Hollywood actors in it. I mean, this is set in Ireland. It's probably going to have some B-level European actors in it. I don't think it'll break the experience. It may make it a little less believable, but that's the case with any kind of TV show or movie that you're going to be watching too. It's going to be hit and miss with regard to the casting.
Yeah, true. Wow, that's why a good TV show or movie is not as easy to make, right? It's like the casting has to have a lot of chemistry. They used to care about that in Hollywood. I don't know that they do too much anymore. They may here. So I have high hopes for it. Hopefully it'll do well. Be good. So
yeah, I heard that they're doing a follow-up series too, where they follow the ghost in Diddy's mansion.
No, dude, you don't want to do that. There's a lot of skeletons in that closet, probably.
Yeah, a lot of tiny little skeletons. So that's it. That's it for headlines. Everyone go check out the Faceless Lady on Oculus TV if you have a Quest headset. And let us know what you think about it. I'm definitely going to check it out, and I think you should too.
I guarantee it's behind a paywall. Well, I can't guarantee it, but it's probably one of those things you have to, you know, get the subscription for, and you get all of the paid content for like $6 for the month or something.
I'll let you know. Like I've got some credit on my account anyway from referrals. So, I mean, as long as it's not ridiculously priced, like if it's a couple bucks an episode or something like that, then I'll be down for it.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Anyway, that moves us to this week's reminders. And oh yeah, we got a giveaway we need to wrap up here. CYUBE VR, thanks to the developers at Stonebrick Studios. We have a few more copies left of this to give away. We're going to pick 3 winners.
Oh my God.
We've got copies on PSVR Europe and Steam. We have no more North American copies. Those are already gone. We're going to pick 3 winners. First come, first serve on platform. Hopefully they don't all 3 pick the same one. As long as that doesn't happen, we should be able to cover everybody here.
Awesome. Hey, question real quick.
Sorry,
I saw Looper wanted to know if Meta Horizon World is still US only. And that's a good question.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think so.
Okay.
Pretty sure we met in Horizon World recently with somebody who's not U.S. based, but
Okay.
I can't verify that.
Oh, it's a time to go verify that for us, Looper. I think you can. You can if
It
you
was
think
Looper
you can.
asking us questions. Looper is the guy that always has the answers. What the hell?
Man, well, that's the thing. He's trying to fulfill. You get the answers by asking questions. So.
That's right. Anyway, everyone that entered, and by the way, we had a lot more people enter for this game than we did for Genotype and Max Mustard combined.
That's crazy.
Like, way more people for Cube than those two games combined, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a good game.
But we had 29 people enter, and that's not including all the people that tried to enter for NA. Like, it would have been closer to 40 or 50 if we counted those people as well.
So do we have 29 keys to give? Oh, no, probably not.
No, we do not. We
Damn
got
it.
3, and
Pretty good
everyone
odds.
has been assigned a number. We will now go to the trusty random.org random number generator and pick 3 numbers, and we will then look up the names that correspond to those numbers, and those names will be the winner. I guess I could bring up the episode so that I can see who the winners are. That would probably help.
We need a wheel. Spin a wheel.
I don't have the code for Dee's wheel, so.
Oh, Dee's holding on to that code tight. She's like, I'm not sharing it.
They don't even do that on Q2C anymore, do they? Or do they?
No, there's a few bad apples ruined it for everybody. Personally, I don't know. I don't think you should let people that say that it's rigged dictate. I just tell them, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
If you think it's rigged, then don't enter. You're not taking
It
it
is
away
rigged.
from everybody.
It is rigged.
Oh,
it
yeah.
is rigged. You're banned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't win now, ever. So I don't know. I'm just not a big believer of penalizing everybody else because somebody's being a shithead. You know.
Agreed, but I got to imagine it makes their life easier anyway. I mean, they were spending so much of their time and energy running giveaways back then that I got to imagine it's much easier now, just doing a few each week.
A lot easier. And you're going to get the people that want to be there for the right reason versus just to get free stuff. So it's a win-win, right?
Exactly. All right. The first number given is 25. So we're going to do some scrolling to see who the first winner is.
And G said she could have had the wheel ready in 3 minutes. And popped in here.
Well, maybe we should do that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Giveaways. Special guest giveaway wheel.
Virtual reality chat 6497 is the winner.
Wow.
Which is kind of
Wasn't it-
interesting because this is the only person that replied to the number. Everyone else knew what the number meant. This person replied and says, "What does this 25 mean? Is that a number for a draw?" Yes, it is, and you were the first winner.
It's
so
one of the
congratulations.
one of the winning numbers. Who would have thought?
Yeah. So obviously a new viewer and a winner. So
rigged.
Congratulations. To claim your prize, tag me on Discord. There's an invitation in the description, or on Twitter. Lethal Weasel VR on Twitter.
And if you don't immediately hear back, just keep messaging him every 5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That's a good way to not get the game.
The second winner is 20, number 20.
Uh-oh. Who is that?
Let's see here.
Is it Don? Looper.
Looper.
Oh
the
my
underground
God, I know
cat.
Looper. He was just in the chat. What's up, Looper? You did it, bro. You did it. Oh my God, that's horrible. You did it.
Congrats, Looper. You did it. So that's both of the PSVR 2 copies gone. that just leaves Steam. So we're gonna roll until we have a Steam winner.
Oh, I'm sorry. I really hope it's one of the Steam winners. That would suck to see your name pop up right now, and you're like, that could have been me, but it's not.
Number 2. You know who loves number 2?
Oh God! I told her that it's not sanitary. Stop with that.
Let's see if number 2 is a Steam user.
I have a feeling it's not. We got a lot of PlayStation people here.
Number 1 was a Steam user.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Number 2 is not a Steam user. Number 2 was the Headbite. We're gonna roll again.
We're gonna roll again.
Number 26.
The Headbite says, "I knew it." No, man, that sucked. Oh.
Well, here's the thing, Headbite. People have to claim their keys. If this dude doesn't claim his key, I know Looper will. Looper's probably already claimed it. But if this new person doesn't claim their key in a few weeks, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, you got the first dibs because you came up next. So you're.
I don't run the winners down. If people win, they have to claim it. They have to watch the show. I mean, rule number 1 is you have to be a subscriber, and like if you're a subscriber, then you should be watching the show. And if you're watching the show, then you know you won. If you're not claiming your prize, then you're probably not even watching. You probably just watched one time and you entered, and that's it. You're probably not subscribed.
But
so,
you're still going to come around the day after we give the key to somebody else and say, "Where's my key?" And we're going to say, "I'm so sorry, dude. It's now in Looper's pocket, or it's now in who is it? The Headbite." So.
Nope, we got to roll again. Beard of Power 666 asking for a UK key. I assume by UK he means
over there.
PSVR. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know how ironic is it that I have to play it on the WoW VR on the EU server? That's crazy.
That is crazy. $21, also a PSVR entry. And
no,
we go again.
We're getting
22.
everybody.
22, also a PSVR.
Uh-oh.
That one was Pant, who went to bed earlier.
Oh, yeah, Pant.
18.
Roy Schwartz says, "Thanks again for Genotype, Wes." Well, thank the devs for sure. And Wes.
18, also PSVR.
So how many? I wonder how many people actually asked for it. Was that one person was the only Steam person? Maybe.
Now there were a few Steam ones.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how many, but there were some Steam. Looper won again just then. So we give him both keys.
Man, Looper,
8.
you got. And Looper, you should go get buy a lotto ticket or something. Got some good luck. Texas, just give it to him.
Well, Duggars K. We finally have a Steam winner, Duggars K, who was number 8, and coincidentally, he also entered for PSVR and preferred it to be on PSVR. But if he couldn't win PSVR, he'd be happy to get it on PC. And there you go. So he wins on PC.
You did it.
All right. So congratulations, winners. Congratulations, Duggars K. Congratulations, Looper. Congratulations, VR Chat new guy. You all know what to do. Hit me up on Discord. Claim your prize, or else I'll give it to somebody else like the Headbite.
Yeah, I'm torn now. I want that person to get the game, but I also want the Headbite. I'm kind of rooting for him, you know?
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Once again, thanks to Stone Brick Studios for providing those giveaway keys. We didn't even ask for it, Ruuts.
I know, that was cool.
Do a nice thing for the people.
It was he was like, "Hey, we can give away." Yeah, I think he might have even meant right then. No, man, we're gonna really drag this out as long as we can.
Well, he might have meant that, but I mean, we were on our way.
We
out
were,
of the end,
we
so-
were almost done.
Right. Yeah, so we couldn't really do it at that time. But here we are, a couple weeks later, and we have
did
some
it.
happy winners. So
Yeah.
congratulations. Ruuts, let's take a look at what's out this week, bro. Not a lot out this week, not a lot out this month, but some notable stuff out this week, to say the least. First of all, the Smallland survived the wilds. I don't know what to think about this thing, man. Like it looks like it has pretty good production value, and it's a cool concept, right? You're a little tiny person in the forest of grass with giant insects and stuff. And I thought it was a cool idea for an adventure game. But the maps, when I look at some of the footage of it, it seems like it might be a lot more stationary, and instead of like a bigger open world type thing, like a few small areas that you're kind of building up and defending. So I don't know. It could be good, but I'm not sure how it's going to be.
I see that it's on Quest. So this is my thing. I see that game, and I want to play Grounded in VR, in the UE VR mod. Because that game is everything you just described, open world, same things that are cool about this. You having that on a AAA budget scale. Now on Quest, you don't have UE VR. And so I think it would be a good way to maybe get that same experience, right? That you can't play because you don't have the PC to run it. So, but yeah, I'm kind of torn. It could be cool. It could be, I guess we'll have to see, huh?
Yep. But I think we have some other releases this week that have a lot more likelihood of being pretty awesome.
Welcome to Mannequin, a 2v3 asymmetrical VR game in which one side relentlessly hunts a team of shape-shifting aliens as they hide in plain sight.
He's behind me! Shoot him! Oh, what? Nice.
Up to 3 players assume the role of aliens known as mannequins. Players use their VR headset and controllers to strike a pose and then shapeshift into frozen human statues. Fool an enemy into thinking you're a human and then get the drop on them.
I'm dead.
I got one.
Meanwhile, up to 2 other players become agents. Their job is to scan for aliens, ready their EMP gun, take aim, and pull the trigger. Choose your target carefully, shoot a human, and your gun will jam, leaving you open to attack.
Where is he?
Right in the door behind you.
It's last team standing in this frantic game of cat and mouse.
Very nice.
Try our free open alpha on MetaQuest 2, 3, and Pro over on SideQuest, and join our Discord community to stay up to date. Until next time, pose and oppose.
Mannequin is out this week. This is interesting, Ruuts, because this is a game that the likes of which we haven't seen before. Not really in VR or out of VR. The whole premise here is some apocalyptic scenario has taken place. The aliens have come down. They've caused this part of the city to basically be frozen in time. And when the people went in to explore it and find out what happened, they found out that the aliens were in there, and the aliens just have to touch you to kill you. The aliens are able to shapeshift, so they're hiding amongst the frozen people, taking the form of frozen people. So you're on a team, if you take that side. So it's like a 3v2 where 3 people are coming in with guns trying to detect where the aliens are at. 2 people get to play as aliens, shapeshifters, where they're in there taking a pose, trying to get close to where the people are and touch them to kill them. So it's a game against time to kind of deduce, who's who and kill the right people. The people coming in to find the aliens have limited ammo. Like, they can't just blast everybody and kill all the people, right? They have a few shots, and they have some tech that they can use to expose the aliens. But typically, to use this tech, they have to get pretty deep into the area, which is going to put them at risk of being spotted and killed. And whenever you use the various tech, it also exposes you. It lets the aliens see where you're at, so they can, so that they have an advantage on you, right? They can see where you're at. You can't see where they're at. So it's a strategy game. It's a social deduction game, almost like Among Us, and it's a shooter all at the same time with a really cool like sci-fi package, and just a very unique concept from a game. And oh, by the way, did I mention this is developed by Fast Travel Games, which is an awesome VR studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, I like it more than Among Us in the respect that I don't have to lie to people to win the game, right? So, you do your deducing, you try to, I assume, kill people on the sly, right? When nobody else sees you or however it works. I think it could be fun.
Yeah. So this is not the full launch of the game. It has been in open alpha for a few months. The open alpha has now come to a close, and they're entering a beta stage, putting this game available for a limited time on App Lab. So on Thursday, anyone will be able to pick this game up on App Lab. I think for $10. I'm not sure how much they're going to charge for it. But I don't think it's going to be up on there forever. I think that when they get a certain player number, they're going to cut it off until full launch. So if this is something that you're interested in, something you want to play, something you want to try out, now's your chance. The problem is, Ruuts, that there's another game coming out on May 2nd, Thursday as well.
In local news, the remaining belongings in the Hale family estate were finally auctioned. Among the auction items were paintings by, as well as some gold and diamond. Most noteworthy was Miss Hale's precious instant camera, which has finally found a new owner. Which has finally found a new owner. Which has finally found a new owner. Which has finally found a new owner.
Hi there, this is Alexis Di Stefano, creator of MADiSON and founder of Lotus Games. As you may know, last year we teamed up with Perp Games to release MADiSON on consoles, both in digital and physical, and we can't be happier with all the love and all the support we received from all of you since day one. So thank you so much for that. For some of you, MADiSON was the scariest gaming experience of last year, which is completely amazing. But now, we are ready to move forward and take it to a whole new level, making it even scarier. Since release, we have been working on some exciting things I wish I could reveal. But today, I'm here to announce that MADiSON will be coming to the next generation of the PlayStation VR headsets, the PlayStation VR 2. So get ready to experience the game like never before and face your fears in virtual reality. Stay tuned for more updates.
MADiSON VR. After 6 months of delays and optimizations, MADiSON VR is finally landing on PlayStation VR and Steam this week. It's been called many times the scientifically proven scariest game of all time. They did do a study on this, and I don't ask me what the parameters of the
I was
study
gonna
were.
say, how do you scientifically prove that? And just the fact that they're saying that's intriguing.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. There's not a lot I can say about the game. I have been playing it. This is an evil game, Ruuts. This is an evil, scary game.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I was just saying that it's hard to do a evil or a scary game or a movie or whatever. Certain people have a knack to do it, and so yeah, just the fact that you're saying it's scary should get people there for like, I'm not, I don't like scary games. I'm on the fence about this. Well, Wes is saying it scared him, so maybe you should go in there just so you can support the devs and then get scared out. But yeah, it looks creepy.
Yeah, this is a unique game. This is a game unlike any other that I've played in VR ever. It's a great premise. It's a puzzle game. This is a horror puzzler, at least so far. I haven't played very deep into it, but it's a horror puzzler, and it's scary and it's dark. And PlayStation VR is going to be the way to play this. Like, I haven't tried the Steam version, but well, I don't want to say too much, but this is adapted well to PlayStation VR, and there are certain things that won't come across the same on other hardware as it does in this hardware.
Wow,
so that's the way that you're going to want to play it for sure.
Well, Tech says he'll be laughing when he's playing it. Do you think that's true, or do you think he's gonna be crying?
Yeah, well, some people, that's the way they deal with
that's
scary
true.
situations, is they laugh their way through it so they don't let themselves get scared.
That's
but
true.
If you will let yourself be immersed in an uncomfortable situation, if you'll suspend disbelief enough to really enjoy something like this, you'll enjoy it. You guys know me. Like, I don't scare easy. I don't scare easy. This is a very uncomfortable game to play. Which is exactly what I want. It's what I love. It's my favorite thing in VR, these type of games. So yeah, this comes out on Thursday, and I can't wait to see what people think about it.
Scientifically scariest game proven until Wes has his game that's in his head created, and then that'll scare everybody to death, literally, probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're kind of leveraging certain kind of concepts in this that's similar to the sort of things that I've been thinking about. So
cool.
Not all of it, obviously, but some of the things that they're doing here is unique and effective.
That's what we like, unique and effective, for sure.
So everyone, be sure to check it out. Tune in on we are going to cover this one on Saturday, right, Ruuts?
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds good. OpJ says he's laughed himself through the show because you're scared.
That's good.
He's scared of the beard, probably.
You should be scared, that a lot. Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what our second title is going to be this week quite yet, but definitely we're going to be covering MADiSON on Saturday, and I would be shocked if it's not a full review, at least on my part. Because I have every intention on finishing this before then.
All right.
Because I want to.
And we're doing Game of the Month, right? Is that this week too?
Yeah, unless you guys think we need another week to do it. I did post the list in the show notes. So just when you guys take a look at that, if you think we can be ready for Game of the Month by next Monday, we'll do that on Monday's show. If not, we'll do it the following.
And we'll do the other game we were talking about because I said so, or no? That I do want to get into.
You talking about Red Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go ahead and call Red Dead for not this Saturday, but next Saturday. That way we have 2 full weeks to get in and check it out. If you want to do that,
hell yeah, I love Red Dead Redemption 2. It's my favorite game, and it's, I think, one of the most underrated mods that's out there, just because people can't, it's harder to get, right? Like, they were forced to take it down, and even in its form that he created it was one of the first ones, right? It's awesome.
So yeah, programming coming together. This week, this Saturday, we're gonna have MADiSON. Either next Monday or the Monday following, we're going to have Game of the Month, depending on how long it takes us to prepare for that. And then probably next Monday, honestly. Like, we don't need to play every game, but there are some key ones that we still need to play. And then next Saturday following, we're going to do Red Dead Redemption VR.
I agree with Opte. He says Ruuts does look like he'd fit in Red Dead Redemption 2 world. Yeah, because if Arthur, you can let the beard grow or you can shave it. I was watching some videos yesterday because I was telling D that we're thinking about doing Red Dead, and I was talking to my roommate Jonathan about that clip we were talking about with the feminist and stuff, and we showed it to him, and it made me just love. Like, I want to play that game again. Because the story and specifically that character, Arthur, I really like it. I really like his character and getting to be him and going through everything. It's just such a good game. It's one of my favorite experiences or games I've played in VR so far. So
yeah, it's really good. And I just love open world games in general. Like, it's my shit.
And Westerns. You'll be able to rope somebody, drag them through the street, and feed them to an alligator if you want. I'm not saying the feminist, somebody else. You do it to some other jerk guy or something, some rude, mansplainer.
We'll snatch someone from the patriarchy and make them.
That's right. That's right. Oh, they better watch out. Just drag them through the street.
Viewer comments. We had quite a few as usual. Thanks to everyone who does that. It helps with the algorithm. Starting with Mark Smith. Mark Smith says, I'm really want Contractor Showdown to come to PSVR 2. Not holding my breath, but what you guys are saying about it and seeing some of GT's footage, this game is what I want in a battle royale and in VR. Fantastic. Yeah, we went back in again last night and played some more Contractor Showdown, and as we suspected, it's growing on us as we get a little bit more experience in there and learn more about some of the game systems. It seems like it's pretty good. We still have a way to go. Like, there's still a lot we don't understand. But what I'm seeing so far, Ruuts, I'm liking quite a bit.
Yeah, I got a couple kills. I landed, and guy had a gun. I was able to run upstairs and get a different gun and kill him as he was trying to kill me. He'd already been shooting at me, and I think it was fun. It was definitely fun hanging out with you guys. I think we have a long way to go till we're good enough or better. I think we could chalk it up to map, knowing the map, and a lot of different things, but there's just a lot of people that are really good at shooting in VR, and they're in there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like playing Fortnite. You're going to run into people that are just really good. The biggest thing that I think people had over us is we're still trying to figure out how to work together. Like, people will get spread out. Like, we land on a group of 3 like MASH did, and all 3 of those people nuke him because they're all there. And the way that people were flanking and shit, especially in that last match we had, I don't know if it was you or MASH, but getting flanked, and it was like, oh shit, there was like 3 people coming from different directions, and it was game over.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to come down over the hill because I was literally just right down below you. You were directly over top of me. And then when they started pushing in on you guys and I didn't have a gun, there were houses right underneath me. So I just dropped down to that. And by the time I cleared the house and turned around to see where you guys are at, you all were like way off to the side somewhere. So I was like, oh, well, okay.
It's easy
and then I
to
started
get
to come back
separated.
up to you. Yeah, but you guys were like really far away from me by that time. So
yeah,
that's one of the things I like about it, though. This is like a big map. And unlike a Fortnite or Pop 1, this is a more realistic map. It's realistic scenario, right? Like the map seems like a real place. And and it's a big map with a lot of diversity to it. Like there's farmland, there's an industrial section, there's a section in the mountains with ruins. I even saw a gentleman's club, Ruuts.
A prison.
There's a little everything.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. What I like too is there's different scales as far as like different types of weapons. You enter it, it says, you know, it's like a medium level. They have different levels of gear you're going to find. So certain areas are going to be, you know, once I guarantee people know more about it already. And that's why when we go to a certain area and we're like, fuck, there's a lot of people here. It's probably a really good spot. People have already figured it out. We're just stumbling in there, right? Let's just check this place out. There's like 20 people. But that's the beauty of Battle Royale.
I definitely think too that while we're getting our legs under us and getting more experience, we could take a more defensive tact, and we would probably be more successful. Like if we were to start in a more central location and kind of fortify, like get our shit, pick a building and fucking hold that instead of moving around.
Well, moving's not bad, but there's a lot to it, especially with a battle royale. And right now, we're not implementing any of it because usually, like in Pop 1 or Fortnite or whatever, like the last place you want to be is on the edge of the circle. If the circle's pushing you, then that means you have
you have to move.
You have to move. You have one direction to move, and anybody that's seeing, you're a sitting target. You have no, you know what I mean? You're very limited in what you can do. So you want to get up ahead of it. You want to get the high ground, and you want to be in that position where you're watching people get pushed into you.
Exactly.
And we didn't do any of that. Like, you're right. We just kind of went in. We were trying to figure out, you know, a little bit more just how to play this game. Yeah. So
yeah, how to revive people, what the different machines do, how to use the money and use the chips. Like forever, I thought that those chips I was picking up all had a direct like ability that I could call in on my PDF. Most of the chips are things that you collect for advancing outside of the match, like after it's over. I didn't even know that until yesterday.
I still don't understand most of that stuff. There's so much to it. I mean, I will admit at first it seemed overwhelming, and then it's just like anything else. Once you start to learn it, it's not that big a deal. But it was cool.
Yeah, a lot here, a lot to like. Something that I'm definitely, at least for now, down to get good at. Like I'm enjoying losing in it, so I got to imagine when we get good enough to win, that it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, dude, we get our first win. I got my first kill. I was excited. People in the chat are talking about Red Dead 2. They were asking whether you could play it with the UEVR mod. Unfortunately, it is a Luke Ross mod, and like Tech says, you have to play. It's like you have to download a specific version of it because obviously everything of the game, everything changes or changed. So, but it's worth it.
But it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do.
It's easier than the WoW mod. Let's put it that way.
For sure.
So.
For sure easier than WoW. Black Market Honey says, great show, chaps. I wonder, do you enjoy games the same way, knowing that you have to report on them or review them, rather than going into them like a regular gamer just to play? Yes, I do enjoy games the same way. And here's why. It's because a long time ago, we decided that we weren't going to cover games that we didn't want to play. And we don't put pressure on ourselves to finish the game before we talk about it. We play long enough to where we feel like we have a good grasp on the game. And then if we want to play more, we do. But we're only covering stuff that we want to play. And for that reason, I don't think that I play any differently than I would if I didn't have a show. Now, the one difference is if I didn't have a show, I would finish a lot more games. I wouldn't be on to the next game every week. That's kind of the one big difference. While I am playing only things that I want to play, I'm moving to the next game much quicker than I typically would.
Just getting a taste of every game.
And that is regretful. Like, I think about that all the time. Like, when am I ever going to be able to fucking finish a 20-hour game? I'm like, never, right?
I think about that now, too, since World of Warcraft came out. I'm like, how am I going to get into any of these other games? Because I just want to be in there. I have a little bit more time. I've already, my kids growing up, it's already happened. So I get off work, I come home, and so I'll go into different games. But it's not a little bit different perspective. A lot of times, even though they are games that we want to go into, I go to get in there and it's not what I want to play. And it's, that's the biggest thing for me is like, like it's a double-edged sword. We're forced to go into the games on a time frame, right? We've chosen, these are the games, and sometimes you don't feel like going into that game, but you have to, because you got the shows coming. It's tomorrow, it's tonight, it's whatever. It's like, okay, I'm going to go in there. So a lot of times I go in and I'm not 100% enthused, but I take that as a good thing, because if the game is good, it's gonna wow me regardless. And if I can go in and I'm like, and it wows me and I'm like, wow, like it's gonna wow me even more so, because I wasn't wanting to be there, and I'm like, wow, this is way better than I thought it was gonna be. Because sometimes it's just not, and so that would be the biggest thing, is not being able to play what I want to on my time frame. And then like what Wes said, we start so many different games and we never go back to them for whatever reasons. It just that does happen a lot, and that kind of I'm not a completionist.
I think about
anyway.
this a lot like but the greats, there are all-time great games that I haven't finished.
Resident Evil,
like
you're close. Resident Evil 8, right?
I didn't finish Stormland. Like there's a lot of games that I just didn't finish. I got deep into, but didn't ever really quite get there. So oftentimes I'm sitting here thinking like, man, one day I'm going to retire. I'm going to be like 80 years old, and it's just going to be the best last 20 years of my life.
Just retro.
I'm definitely living to 100.
Hey,
and
using your hands, that's like a baby's toy.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
crazy.
But I wish I had more time to spend in each game. Sometimes I feel like it would be better if we did one show a month and just talked about games that we finished or played our feel of them. But then we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't have all these interactions with the people on a weekly basis. So,
and we wouldn't go into as many games. Again, that's a double-edged sword, right? Because you're going to miss out on certain games because you were focused on a few, and so yeah. That's why I always try to tell people with the games that I play that I stream, or with the people that are playing with me, I jump around. I don't stick on one game. I will come back to games. I like to keep things fresh and go to switch back and forth and to what I feel like playing, really, is what it, and I guess they're at the mercy of my whims if they're there for my stream. But I just don't like to play. So sometimes you want to play certain games, sometimes you want to play something else, right? So
Rickaron7593 says, thank goodness for UEVR injector. I have a 4080 Super, but I'm terrible at using mods, so I never do them. For me, the mods need to work with one click. I know I'm missing a lot of great mods, but I don't feel as bad having so many games on the injector. I just bought at a discount Aliens Fireteam, Hogwarts Legacy, Gotham Knights, and RoboCop, and it's hard to go back to regular VR.
Welcome to my world. If it wasn't for the show, I probably wouldn't, which is good. That's good for the show. It keeps me going into stuff that I wouldn't normally do that I should go into, right? So I think that's good. That I would also suggest, Rickaron, if you don't mind, spending $10 at least to get the most updated Luke Ross mod. Granted, you have to put for each game, but it's very easy as well. And
yeah, it is easy.
And you get it.
Cross mod is easy.
And you'll get access to games that, the one thing that Luke does that isn't what they're doing with the UEVR mod is it's individual game by game. So he'll pick an independent engine, right? Whereas the other one's limited to Unreal Engine, which happens to be what everything's being built on. So it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, Luke Ross typically mods games that are in custom engines, which I got to imagine is very difficult to do. So
yeah, it's a completely different side of the coin, right? But I think both are important.
Agreed. Kinetron Omega says, Wes, you got to give Demeter an hour and a half gameplay. Amazing platformer in mixed reality. Also, the Stranger Things have one of the best mixed reality implementations. Sucks that you have to beat the game to get it, but it's not a bad game either. Great show as always, though. So this just goes back to what we were saying during the game of the month. Like, I didn't even try Stranger Things because of the reviews and how bad the reviews were. But as we pointed out during that episode, like the reviews were bad for Happy Funland too, and I absolutely love that. And we see this often. The reviews weren't great for Crossfire Sierra Squad at that time until we did it, and then we realized it was awesome, and then the people kind of got caught up to it. Well, I'll take that back. At least Brian and Without Parole did a good review of Crossfire Sierra Squad, but the rest of VR was pretty negative on it. And it just goes to show that maybe Stranger Things would be something I enjoyed.
It's possible. It's possible because a couple things that I'm seeing in this though. Like, okay, so I don't know if I got to play a game an hour and a half to get to the good part of it. I think there's a pacing issue with said game.
I don't think that's what he meant. I think he was saying, look, you can play this thing and get a pretty good feel for it in an hour and a half, or maybe that's the entire length of the campaign, just an hour and a half. I don't think he's saying you have to go an hour and a half before it gets good.
What's the I don't even know what the meter is, but and then as far as Stranger,
it's like a Moss style or mixture style platforming game, but the world spawns out in your physical space. So it's a mixed reality game.
I gotcha. And then as far as the Stranger Things, again, as far as the way he's wording it, like if somebody says, "Hey, Wes, you need to go check out this restaurant," you're like, "Really?
Okay.
How good is it?" You're like, "It's not bad. It's not bad. The food's not bad. It's not you know what I mean? That's not a glowing endorsement. It's not a bad game either. It just sounds to me like I don't want a not bad game. I want an amazing game, you know. And the gameplay that I've watched, I don't know that I would like it, but I think it was it Looper or somebody else said this recently to you that you should give Stranger Things a chance. I can't remember. So maybe there is something to it.
Have actually. Yeah, a couple of people have, and specifically because it's that same type of surreal horror that I typically enjoy, even if it's a walking sim. Like I normally like stuff like that. The question is does the jank make it break the immersion too much?
Yeah.
Right. And that there's mixed reports on that. So
I just don't want jank anymore, man. I don't care what game it is. I don't care if it's micro stutters. I don't care if it's any jank. I just, you know, I'm raising that bar for myself, you know. So.
Yep. Davros 1962 says, "Boy, the Sony Pulse Elite headphones are disappointing. Mine cracked 31 days after I ordered them." 31 days. How about that timing? Quality is shite on these, he says. Mine haven't cracked yet, but we talked at length about them earlier in the episode and some of my problems with them. They feel pretty good quality, to be honest, but they're not comfortable for what I want to use them for, so that's a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
They're comfortable right now, even though they are as fucking tight as they possibly can be. Like, I can't pull them down. Like, this is as much space as they have.
That's crazy. But I mean, I don't know. Do you have a big head? You don't have a big head, right?
I have a big head.
Yeah, huge head. We're talking about, you know who loves a big head?
My mom!
Different head, but yeah.
Bad Robo says, as for the CYUBE, just add a chainsaw and a jackhammer. Problem solved.
Yeah, works.
Now I want a copy. Okay, and then the rest of that's just entry for the PSVR version. But he's saying that your problems with the game could be solved with power tools, Ruuts.
Hey, I'll take whatever keeps me from having to monotonously do a motion over and over again for hours on end. That's my point. It's not limited to this game or any game. It's the same thing that would have been okay. Just hold a button down. Now it's just too much for me anyway. I could be completely wrong, and I'd like the option of what Eric and I were saying of giving us options, because I would go back and forth, because there's part of me that would want to do it for a while, and then when I get tired of it, then I switch to the pushing the button, and then I go back when I'm not lazy. Win-win.
There you go.
And my arm is big.
Main fan says Outer Wilds is amazing and might be my favorite game of all time. But I don't think it's a Ruuts and Eric game. Heavy exploration, no combat, cryptic puzzles.
Well, it depends on what your heavy exploration is driven by. If it's like a really good narrative, and I think it'd be really cool. I don't necessarily need combat myself. As a matter of fact, especially in VR, and I've said this so many times, I'm really getting burnt out, Wes, in shooting a gun in VR. Like it's a good portion of what I've done for 5 years in so many games. And it just, at some point, I just want to do something else. That's why I really would like the platformers, or whatever it is.
I've got a good concept for you. If you're tired of shooting stuff, how about a game that puts you in a very dark and scary environment, and then you have this evil camera that's a Polaroid camera that you can snap pictures of stuff, and it sees things that your eyes can't see.
I thought you were talking about Happy Funland.
That are in the space with you. No, I'm not talking about Happy Funland.
That sounds creepy.
It is pretty creepy. Moving along, this is the part of the show where we ask you all to join us as we take a moment to support the developers out there, especially the indie devs, by wishlisting a game. This is important for these developers as it helps them establish a better foothold in the prospective stores that they're trying to publish on. It makes their game more visible, and much like liking our video, wishlisting these games makes it much more likely for success. I did Cold VR this week, Ruuts. Basically because I think they probably need it more than any of the other ones. Like most of the other stuff we covered is are bigger titles that are more well budgeted and well known. But Cold, this is a fairly unknown studio.
I'm a little put off by the fact they're copying. No, just kidding. No, I think this is a very good one to wish list, and I guarantee that the devs would appreciate it, right? You said that you're finding that even more now, it being on the inside, how much of a big deal that is.
It's a huge deal. It is a huge deal, especially pre-launch. Pre-launch wish lists are a big thing in determining later on success. So what is just a click for you is a pretty big deal from people trying to make their living selling games.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks to everyone out there who participate every week. Be sure to let us know what you wishlisted. And Ruuts, some 3 hours later, I think we have finally made it to our final reminder this week and every week. And that is how you can support us, our channel, our community, and everything we're trying to accomplish over here. Of course, the most important thing is, if you haven't, please subscribe. That's the bottom line. That's the number everyone looks at, including YouTube algorithm, when they determine what your viewership is and what kind of access you could get. So not only that, but if you subscribe and you ring that bell, you're going to know when we go live. Although they shouldn't have to do that anymore, Ruuts, because we're going to be consistent now, right? And they're going to know when we're going live.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go live at the same time every week.
Yep. Yeah. Consistency. We're going to be like X-Lax, right? Isn't that what Classy Grandma said? Yeah. It'd be regular. So
Now, if you're already subscribed and you want to do something a little extra to help support us, you can support us on Patreon. $3 per month. That's all we ask. Less than $1 per week. Get you access to our weekly show notes. You get insider updates. You get exclusive content, and you get your name on the ticker at the end of the show. And you also get peace of mind knowing that you helped us to thrive in the ever competitive world of VR content creation. So shout out to everyone who supports us on Patreon. Shout out to everyone who left a tip today on in the chat. We appreciate all of you. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to buy cheap, shitty headphones if it weren't for these people.
That's right. Well, we have some things to show for it, right? But
that's right.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you guys.
No,
and
it
all does.
We covered. We were able to cover Showdown on PC this week because of our patrons and our monetary supporters. We got keys for the Quest version. Someone in the Discord said, "Why are you covering Quest? Why not PC?" And I said, "Good point." So we went and bought it, a copy for each one of us on Steam, using the funds that have been donated directly from you, the viewer. Just one example of many where your funds help us to make our show a better show.
Yeah. Like if you had an auditor, you'd be like, "Oh, it really is going straight to everything in this show." It's crazy.
Anyways, of course we get it. Not everyone has money to donate, especially in today's economy. That is why the Virtual Strangers Discord is 100% free. There's an invitation link in the description down below. All you got to do is click into that, and you will essentially be joining our community and coming into our home, where we hang out 24/7, 365, talking about gaming, sports, life, and everything else. It's a cool place to hang out with the best people in the world, and it's free.
Yeah, come home. Wes left the light on. Just wipe your feet. Mad Vegan says, "Give me an option to join YouTube. Thanks." And actually, we just talked about that on the last show, and we're going to be working on that soon. You know, I don't know. I know about me. I think Wes is in the same boat. I don't know shit about it. I know Todd does all that stuff over at Q2C. We need a Todd over here, Wes. Or maybe we just borrow Todd for 5 minutes.
Yeah, we'll do the memberships now. Again, I've only time I really have taken it seriously has been over the last few months, and I really didn't feel like we were being consistent enough to ask people to join our club, you know, so to speak, when we're bouncing around, only doing shows some weeks, missing others. You know, again, out of our hands, nothing we could have helped, but now fortuitously circumstances have changed and the perfect solution has presented itself, and we expect that we're going to be very consistent going forward. And now I don't feel the least bit bad asking people to join our club, so maybe we'll read up on YouTube memberships a little bit and make that a thing sometime soon.
Sounds good.
Mepper said, "What happened to police chases?" Nothing, bro. They're still taking place. There's a tag that you can have in our Discord called Police Chase, and then whenever Tech or Brandon or whoever finds one, they tag everybody, and we all get together and root for the perp to get away from the evil police.
We need to figure out, and maybe you know, because we did so much extensive search on the Discords and stuff a while back, but I've been in other Discords where they have like all these different categories, and to like join it, you have to click on it, and then it gives you that tag, and now you get, you know, tags for it, because now it's manually, and that sucks because that's usually me, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's not hard to do. It does take a little bit of time because you kind of have to restructure your server to match that, which would mean setting up a greeting, like an automatic greeting when people come in. Here's the rules of the server. Here are the things we talk about. Click on what you're interested in. You'll be added to that channel. You could do that. It would take a few hours probably to set it up. We just, you know,
have to
like
do
anything else. finding the time to do it. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we could have like a politics. You click on politics and you get booted from the Discord.
Yeah, you
You're like,
automatically get banned.
like, no,
Auto ban.
not doing that again. Not doing that here. It's just divisive. It's not worth it.
Nope. We did that before. And some people just aren't capable of discussing these things respectfully and respecting other people's opinions. We're in a different area now, a different world where people think that someone who sees the world differently, that now people believe that those are evil people, that those are bad people.
I love everybody, Wes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, even Bundy, the serial killer. I don't like what he did. I still love him. Yeah.
I like the Unabomber.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
I do like Bluebell though. $9.99 US donation. Thanks for the awesome notes and show. Well, thank you, Bluebell, for your ongoing support and attendance.
Yeah.
Appreciate you very much.
Absolutely.
Shapeshifter the Amorphous Game Cat says we need Road Rash VR. We do need Road Rash VR. I'll second that any day. That would be a great game, great fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts, I'm Wes. We'll see you Saturday. Bye-bye.
Stay easy.